Now we're live on YouTube.
Good. Good morning, everybody. Whoa.
Duck hunting?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, Nick. You good?
Just coming this morning.
Who do you?
Who's that now? And where are they from?
Here.
What time are they coming in?
Anytime. I told them probably send
Perfect.
something
Hey,
like that.
then we're good.
Yeah.
So as soon as they get here, we can skedaddle.
No.
These are the people who gave us $4,000 the day before we got the contract and the bill.
Nice.
Awesome.
Good.
And they saved it at the last
Perfect.
minute. So they said, hey, we should one and just tell everybody how important it is.
Yeah, they can park with Debbie Noble. It'll be fun.
So that
Sounds like a riveting
that's
show.
okay with you. Like this was as of last night.
Yes, I love my job. Everything's fine.
I told them sometime between 7 and 8.
Oh, goodness. Oh, here we go.
And Retro Country 105.9 and 103.3.
Oh,
and
goodness.
available worldwide on our app at Retro Radio CC. It's the Power Hour with Larry Elizondo, the Godfather, who makes street sense meet common sense. Now,
Yeah, perfect.
live from Doc's Seafood and Steaks, it's Island Moon Thursday.
Man.
And good morning.
We're not sure if we're on.
Yeah, we are on.
See, yes.
Tyler Thorsten here, subbing for Jacob Boggs, who's doing family stuff with his wife and daughter, and good luck to them this morning for their procedure. Joining us this morning, Jay Gardner
Arr.
from ISAC and from LJA Engineering, and we also have Jeff Edmonds. You're the Director of Engineering for the City of Corpus Christi. Is that
That's
correct?
correct, Tyler, yes.
Nick Colosi's the Island Blast guy, and let's start off things first with weather. As you can see, we're from Doc's Seafood and Steaks. If you're looking on the YouTubes, now it's getting really foggy. So if a lot foggier than it was earlier this morning. So if you're driving in, going OTB or wherever you might be, allow yourself some extra time, and remember, don't use the brights during the fog. You got to use those low lamps to see.
Right, and we were talking before we got fired up here. The weather is the important thing. We're expecting a freeze, and it's like Texans on ice, which is a really bad idea. You know what I mean? Jeff was enthralling us with a great story about growing up. Where were you at in North Carolina?
I was in central North Carolina, Greensboro. That's where
Okay,
I grew up.
Greensboro. Oh yeah.
You have to swallow the mic there, Jeff. You're good.
Okay.
All us broadcast professionals know how to do this. But so you grew up in North Carolina, and so we talk about here, like yesterday, I was at HEB at 4 o'clock. I saw Larry Elizondo and Gil Hernandez. I thought,
And they were buying.
are we violating the Open Meetings Act? I thought we shouldn't probably be talking, but they weren't hoarding toilet paper. But I did notice
they were getting milk and bread.
milk and
right?
bread. No, they were over
Everybody
there.
buys all the milk and bread.
They-
I don't drink milk or eat bread, but it's like, oh, I gotta have
You
it.
got to have that for the the ice Mageddon. So what we're looking at, usually they go overboard and because people want it to snow. We want it to freeze. We want it to be like cold and chilly until we
Oh,
don't.
I grew up in Ohio. I'm done.
Well,
Over it.
but in Corpus Christi, I've lived through both of those 100-year events. We had the Christmas snow in 2004. And then we had one in 2017, right after Harvey, on December the 8th. It snowed like 8 inches, but only on the south side, up to about Mathis, I think. And that was quite an event. But looks like this weekend we're going to get colder weather coming in Saturday night, and we have a cold weather effect warning out there through Saturday night into Monday morning. Now, they're expecting a light freeze on Sunday morning. There may be some precipitation in there. I always follow Kevin Kieschnick, who is a pilot, and he keeps track of the weather, all those models and spaghetti models. And they're talking about it's going to be colder than what they say on the regular.
Get some spaghetti too.
Right. And, well, you could throw the
toilet
pasta.
paper.
That is if you have power, but you can always use propane to heat your spaghetti. So
No, that's right.
we've done that.
During Hurricane Harvey, we were out without power for 7 days, and I actually made macaroni and cheese on my grill, on my grill. Yes. because
Yep, I had the same thing. That was great. They just decided who was going to be out, and if you were out, you were out the whole
We're
time.
out. Yeah.
So make sure you leave that one, one package of spaghetti or one loaf of bread for seed for somebody else, and not go too crazy on the preparations for whatever storm we're not going to have. Also coming up this weekend, yours truly will be out there for complete foundation repairs at the 27th annual Home and Garden Show at the Hilliard Center, and that starts tomorrow from 2 until 6, and then Saturday it's going on from 10 until 6, and then Sunday, we might have ice skating. Well, ice skating.
Well, there's going to be ice skating on the roads.
But maybe we'll see. But hope you join us for that, because the playoffs don't start until 3:00 on Sunday. So come by and say hi, and we'll talk fishing or foundation issues that you have. So if you got your bulkhead needs sealing out here, we can talk about that too. So that's coming up this weekend at the 27th annual Home and Garden Show. Dale Rankin, the editor, publisher, and head guy, chief guy at the Island Moon, has joined us. Good morning, Dale.
Morning.
We've got now it's getting really foggy.
So when is the cold front coming in?
It's coming in Saturday. Saturday, probably, I don't know, midday or something like that.
When the roads are icy, you're supposed to speed up, right?
Yes.
Right, and then
Really fast.
You guys go really fast. Yes.
the funny thing is that
Handful of throttle, I think they call
Get
it.
your
Yes.
one a lot.
Yeah. Yes.
people around here don't know how to drive on ice. They get mad when we were talking with Jeff Edmonds about how when he worked at the grocery store, like, you don't have any more bread and milk in the back. No, if we did, we'd have put it out. I remember when Snowmageddon went on, I worked at Ace Hardware, and they said, well, I just need a Gazinta I need a half-inch corner pipe. We ran out of half-inch corner pipe, and we've been doing teas for the last 2 days. Where are you?
I was looking for square-headed bulbs. An hour ahead of our break.
Yeah, do you have any of those wing? Hang on a second. Let me get his mic
Yeah,
up. What
his
mic
mic's
is he on? He's on red.
He's on red.
Red. Okay. All right, Dale.
there we
you're-
go.
Now Dale's up. All right. Let me get Nick on. Nick, you're up.
Good morning.
Yeah.
There we go. We have the technology.
Here on Island Moon Radio. Hey, Stevie. How you
Stevie
doing?
Stark just walked in. So, Jeff, city
right over there.
Corpus probably doesn't have a lot of ice equipment, right? Like road clear. We don't really need it down here. It freezes so seldom.
I don't think we have much.
Yeah.
I was in a small town in North Carolina as a public works director for 8 years. I had
I bet
quite a
you-
bit.
yeah.
I probably had more than City of
Well, I know
Corpus Christi has.
in San Antonio they used to try to put sand and all that stuff down. Then finally they said, to heck with that, we'll just close the freeways. And it worked because the elevated roads.
Right.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
not
it's a
worth it.
nightmare.
It freezes every 10 years, so it doesn't make sense to have a fleet of trucks, you know.
Overpass May. Yeah. Exactly.
But we had a good meeting here on Saturday here on the island that you attended for the seawall. And you guys covered a lot of ground, how it's back on the front burner and things are moving forward, right?
It should be moving forward. There's going to be an
It
action.
never stopped.
Right.
It's always been moving forward.
It never
Yes.
stopped. The problem was that we had a bit of a funding crunch in the TERS, as
Right.
you know. So there's some action. There's a TERS meeting on the 27th, and then they're going to follow that up with council action to
Right.
shift funding around so that we can fully fund that project.
And but the work has been ongoing.
It
Yeah.
has been ongoing. We were, at one point, we were postured to try and get the bids out in the summer so that we could start construction shortly after Labor Day, and due to the funding situation.
Right.
Well, and permitting. We're still obviously waiting on permitting, and Jeff and I
Yeah.
can talk about permitting for
Well, that's
hours.
what Jay does. Jay gets Corps of Engineers permits for us. How's that Laguna Shores Road?
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm talking about.
Ding, 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 ding.
So yes, I'm going to start.
Bologna sandwich.
I'm going to start inviting you to the celebration party, which is on December 12th of every year. That still don't have the Laguna Shores permits. Yes, I think we're at 6 years now. Pushing 7. I don't even remember. But
Well, generally speaking, Jeff, what needs to be done to the seawall? I mean, what kind of work needs to be done?
Well, what we're proposing is basically putting a concrete cap over the most of it. Now, the parts that are under the sand seem okay, so we don't think we need to go all the way down to the toe, but it's basically building a slab over the top of what's there.
Have you looked at the structure of it? What's under when people walk along the seawall? You don't see what's down there. Is it?
Jimmy Hoffa.
Yeah, right.
A whole bunch of
Is it on
Jimmy Hoffa down there.
the old one? I noticed when it back in the '80s had some wooden structure under there. I assume that's probably not there anymore.
There are still some wooden structures,
Really?
but they actually did magnetometer and actually look for voids, and it's actually really good.
Really?
Yeah, it's all sand.
So there's no holes or anything under there.
No, there's no buried treasure. People
Oh,
out there
man.
do not.
I was hoping for a
start
Jenny
digging.
Lafitte's pencil box or something.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
So it's
No, it's good.
So it's structurally, it's got pilings that go down.
It seems structurally sound.
Well, it's been there. They rebuilt it in '80 after Hurricane Allen, and then there's a whole rabbit hole of history to go down there with the GLO. It wasn't exempt from the Dune Protection Act, and the GLO claimed 150-foot easement for up until the '90s, until they
Right.
finally cleared all of that up.
96, yeah, exactly.
Well, it
with
was
the
actually-
reauthorization, yeah.
It was kind of built illegally.
Right.
And then,
Well, it was built before we were in the city limits.
correct. The city had nothing to do with the original
Yeah,
construction.
so they-
But the state wasn't none too happy about it, and they had them stop construction. It was actually supposed to go up to like Zahn Road.
Really, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they said cease and desist, and then sued, and that's part of the settlement they reached with the state was granting a lot of the property that is now the Packard Channel. That was part of the settlement.
Well, so the wooden structure that goes all the way over to 361 and then south to, I think it's Access Road 5 there, is considered part of the seawall, even though it's not concrete. The wooden structure over there, that's the dividing line between the GLO property and the private property, right?
I believe, I'm not certain on that, Dale, but I
That's
think in
what-
some cases that's the
Paul
case.
Schnecksnyder always claimed everything behind the wooden bollard. That's where I got that. So,
Well, I mean, there you go.
but it took 2 or 3 years to rebuild it after Hurricane Allen because there wasn't any funding available, and then it had to go through the state senate, as I recall, to get some funding, and that's when it kind of bogged down. But it's a big deal. I mean, I'm glad to see it happening. And it was a very good meeting we had Saturday. The city manager was here, and the funding seems to be ready to go. I've just got to go through the council, but I wouldn't think that that's going to be much of an obstacle.
I thought there was an issue with the TERS money not being available, the whole $15 million or whatever it's going to cost.
That's what this meeting was about. And Jeff, you can describe that. They're basically some projects didn't move forward, and so some money became available.
Well, so there's several answers to this. So part of it, some of the money that became available was money that we had put into the Packard Channel restoration because we had to fight tooth and nail to get that money out of FEMA. And then FEMA actually was trying to claw back some money on that. We had to go to arbitration. And even then, it wasn't until I saw the money actually hit our account that I really felt like, okay, we really got it. I thought we reached a settlement, and I thought we were going to have to go back to arbitration because they were backpedaling. But, we finally did get what we were entitled to.
That was money from Harvey?
This was Harvey money, and there was a whole goat rope between after 2 years of dealing with FEMA, they said, oh no, this should be Army Corps. And Army
I
says,
remember
well,
that.
In theory, we could help you, but in practice, we can't.
You're not getting a check.
Right, and then it took about another year and a half to get the Army Corps to say, you know what, this really doesn't qualify for our program, which reopened FEMA.
Right.
And then FEMA tried to say, well, we're only responsible for restoring it to the condition it was just prior to the storm and just after the storm. So the erosion that continued for the year and a half or 2 years that they delayed us, they said, no, we're not responsible for that.
Right.
You should have mitigated that.
A chicken and egg problem.
That was the arbitration.
Right.
So, it was conservative on our part. When we knew we had this dispute, we put additional money towards that Packard restoration in case we didn't prevail. So that's part of the money that's going to the seawall.
Right.
Part of the money is we had money allocated to the Whitecap and Gypsy Bridge scour protection.
Right.
Now, we wound up using ARPA funds for that.
Oh, okay.
So
Well, that work did get done.
And then
Yes.
there was savings from the Whitecap effluent reuse line, and then there was savings from Crow's Nest construction. So it came from a bunch of different things.
Right, so some of those projects that were on there, they had kind of seed money for construction, and we were still way short of what we would need to do the project. So
Right.
some of that money is being swept and put towards the seawall.
So
Well,
a
that's-
little Paper Street money came back this way because you don't have enough to do whole
We
thing.
didn't
So
have enough
why?
to build it, correct. So we're going to have to find other funding for that.
But it's still being designed. Crow's Nest is still being designed, and it's going through permitting. So that's going to take a while, and we talked about that.
Jay, are you working on that permit?
No.
So we might get it in less than 6 years.
Hey.
You have to. The other word for permitting is permission. You have to have permission, right?
Well, I think the Ted Mandel Causeway will be in right about the same time. So
yeah.
we'll see on
Actually,
that.
the Ted Mandel Causeway is. We should be hearing the environmental impact study back on that pretty soon.
Yeah.
You're listening to Island Moon Thursday from Doc Seafood and Steaks. I'm Tyler Thorson, joined by Dale Rankin, editor, publisher of the Island Moon. Nick Colosi with the Island Blast. We also have Jeff Edmonds, who's the director of engineering for the city of Corpus Christi. Jay Gardner, ISAC friend, biologist, environmentalist, and we have Stevie Start, the Padre guy.
The mummy lives. Well, we've also got we're hearing there may be some progress on the island mobility plan. That popped back up.
Yes, absolutely. And we talked about this last week with District 4 City Councilman Kalen Paxton. I don't know if Jeff's up to speed on that, but it's in between 7.9, but it's actually tagged as $16 million for the Park Road 22 improvements, pedestrian and multimodal improvements in between Commodores and Whitecap. So that's got to get on the council like yesterday. It was supposed to have been done in
There's
August.
some state matching money that's
It's TxDOT. It's actually TxDOT funds for construction.
use it or lose it.
Use it or lose it. So there's a public comment on February 5th, I believe, for the MPO subcommittee that will go in. The recommendations for all the projects statewide will go in and be voted on March 5th, I believe.
Oh, okay.
In Austin. So
That needs to move forward.
it's got to go, or we leave $16 million on the table. So
Right.
that's horrible.
Well, one of the things that's come up, Jeff, for the seawall, the city manager mentioned it at the TERS meeting, the possibility of using some of the sales tax money,
Type B funds.
Type
yeah.
B funds, whether it's the seawall or other projects out here. Is that realistic?
That was one of the options. So what they did with that sales tax is they broadened the use of that out. So we're not getting any more, but
Right.
it used to be, in the 2000 referendum is when that was voted into place. And at the time, they had huge deficiencies with the downtown seawall.
Right.
And they looked at that as a way to fund that project, which this was a series of projects that was done back in the 2000s. It was something like $45 million. They sold debt against that revenue.
Right.
But then we started collecting more revenue than we needed for the debt. So that was set to expire. When you extinguish the debt, that tax expires. So
Right.
it was put on the referendum to renew it, but expand it to include flood protection and just coastal erosion protection.
Right.
So under that, it would be eligible.
So we don't need it necessarily for the seawall, but there might be other projects coming down the pike that we could use it for if
Well,
we needed it.
they discussed a range of flood prevention, storm drainage kind of projects,
Right.
As well as coastal protection. And it would be an eligible use of that
Right.
sales tax.
Generally speaking, what shape are the Packery jetties in? Are they okay? There's been a lot of work done since Harvey, I know.
I know. They put some of the rocks back. Some of the rocks had moved a little bit.
Yeah.
And created these nice little snook holes and mangrove holes. And they put them back. They fixed it.
But is there anything that needs to be done there that you
It's
can
fine.
see, or is it?
It's granite. Good luck.
I think it's okay. There has been some shifting at the ends, but, it's basically what is referred to as a rubble pile
Right.
jetty. So
Which seems to work.
that's the technical term for it. So
It's like a Flintstones.
No, it's absolutely fine. There is a scour hole for all you fisher people out there that's monitored every couple of years by the city contract. So there's a big scour hole that goes down to like 30
Right.
feet, but it moves in between the south jetty and the north jetty depending on the season.
Depending on how many pickup trucks there are down there.
Right. So right now, it's out the end of the jetties. So right now, it is moving from the south jetty to the north jetty.
There's another scour hole under the bridge, which is
That's a big
also.
one.
The 361.
Then you might find Jimmy Hoffa down there.
Well,
Yeah.
no, you might find a lot of sheep's head and a lot of lead sinkers that have been hooked down there.
Well, a friend of mine's got a giant magnet he can pull behind a boat. I've been trying to get him to let's drag it through. We probably never have to buy another fish hook in our life if we did that.
As long as
But,
it's stainless.
well, the
But, yeah.
jetties, the Peccary jetties have changed over the years. They started out with the matting, and that started to erode even before Harvey came in. They started putting bull rocks in, and then when Harvey came through, the outbound water sort of collapsed it, and
Oh,
the
back cut it.
rocks seemed to work.
So yes, it did back cut it. The great thing is, I think, is on the agenda for next week is they're actually going to fund some repairs to the Peccary Channel boat ramp.
Yeah, I saw
Finally.
that.
Finally.
Yeah. Well, they're
You know-
applying for a grant.
Oh,
yeah.
right. They're applying for a Texas Parks and Wildlife
Right.
boating access or boating infrastructure.
Well, that
grant.
ramp has a problem because you hit high
It's got a-
center,
it's
right?
Got a lip. Yes, exactly.
So if you have a double axle trailer, you like,
Over
So when
21
Tyler's launching his yacht, he can't get it over.
yeah, it's kind of trouble, but luckily it's
Get your
you know,
John boat in, but not your yacht.
No, you can't get in there.
So the boating access grant, boating infrastructure grant, Jeff and I actually have a lot of history with that, with these two boat ramps over here.
Yeah.
The Clems and Billings boat ramps.
What's
We
our
worked-
status there, Jeff?
worked
Is that
on that.
we're gonna finally get something done over there, right? It sounds like.
At the Peccary boat ramps?
No, right
No,
here
no,
underneath under the JFK.
Oh, we're gonna pave the parking under the JFK, yes.
Wow.
Something that Jeff and I worked on, and
Yeah,
I don't want to date ourselves. but
I
we
was
got-
in some of those meetings
we
because of the
actually-
Peccary.
We actually got the original permit, and Jeff did the original design.
I have a
many
copy
moons
of it on
ago.
my
Was that
desk.
2016? Was it 2016?
No.
Well, I was about 12.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like 2012.
It was back before Al Gore invented the internet.
Yeah, that's a permit we actually received.
Yeah,
that
we
Jay worked
actually got a
on.
permit. Pretty good. Yeah, thanks, Jeff. But,
So are you at
but,
60% again now on that? Or?
Oh yeah, we were back down to 55. As time goes on, we get
We
less
rip
and
a
less,
page out of the plans. Oh, we're back down to
But
55.
no, Jeff and I actually got all that done years and years ago, and then
Yeah.
you know, it's loss of institutional knowledge. I think is what happened to that project.
Well, I have a copy of those drawings on my desk
They're beautiful drawings.
because they were. But you were on the other side of the fence back then,
He
right?
was working for URS at the
I was
time.
on the other side of the fence. And I got to say, yours to the ones at Peccary also. I tried to learn lessons from that. I said, hey, what's working, what's not working. And,
Right.
it's too steep, and we didn't like the articulated block mat ramp, so I did reinforced concrete on the ones here.
Right. Yeah. And
Wow.
the ramps are good.
Well, we've had the parking lot under a crossover at Billings and Clems that was paved probably 10 years ago, something like that.
Well, it was caliche, but
But
yeah.
the middle of it still needs to be paved, and then,
Yeah.
but there's some bond money, right? $2.1 million in bond money, I think.
Yeah, it was 2018, still hanging fire, and then I think 2022 they put another $1 million into it. So
Well, that's good. It's moving. That's good. You got to start somewhere, right?
yeah, right.
Well, what is the status of our paper streets? Do we know when those are going to come to fruition? That's kind of the funding is still kind of out there. You said Crow's Nest is under design.
They're both under design. One's at 60%, one's at 90%.
Sand Dollar and Crow's Nest,
Is it
right?
Yes.
Sand Dollar's at 90%? Well, that's good. That's something that we need to that needs to get done. Do we have other big projects out here? What else are we working on that we're going to see coming? I mean, look around. We have the seawall. We have the JFK. Hopefully, if we get the mobility plan passed, what happens then? How long will it be, you think, before we'll see some crews on the ground? Do we know?
Well, so I've got to say, I'm not really, that one hasn't arrived in my
Right.
area of responsibility yet, so that's still upstream
Okay.
of me. So when projects land in my lap, it's when there's funding that's been identified and when you know what you're going to do, and we get the designers to produce bid documents.
Right.
And, I think this is still kind of in the concept phase.
Right. Well, we've got a bond issue coming up, I guess, toward the end of this year.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. There's a bond issue.
Right.
coming up.
Well, do we have any sense of what that number is going to be? I know it's early in the process. Last time it was 175 million, and I heard the city manager tell the council a week or so ago it's not going to be that much this time.
Well, so You might remember, and I don't know if you look at your property tax bill, but everybody got a big break with this homestead exemption
Right.
going up.
Right.
Well, what that means is our revenues go
Less
way
money.
down.
Right.
Right. So we've also tended to reduce the tax rate. Even though property values go up, and they'll reduce the rate.
Right.
So the end result of all of that is our debt capacity within the tax rate is greatly diminished.
So and that brings down ceiling on borrowing.
Correct.
Credit. So, any idea what the number is going to be? I mean, where are we? Well, I know it's early in the process, but less than 170 could be anywhere from 50 to 100.
Well, I think what you're probably going to see is that there's going to be tax increase propositions, and I don't know how many of those
On the ballot.
Ooh,
Right.
that'll be fun during an election season.
Well, you might remember, now they've passed, we've done it before. 2014 had a 1-cent tax increase.
Right, yeah.
2018 had a 2-cent tax increase.
Right.
Okay.
And, we did the residential street thing, which had the 2 plus 2 plus 2. Now,
Right.
the end result, they only did the first 2 increases on that. They didn't do the third 2-cent.
Okay.
2014, they did raise that penny, but 2018, they never raised that.
Oh, so that's
the
still out
tax
there.
increase prompts passed, but we never did raise the tax
Oh.
to pay
Well,
that.
streets have been kind of at the top of the list for a while. From the engineering side, what kind of shape are our streets in? It looks there's a lot of construction going on. So, do we still have a lot to be done? Are we making some progress? I see construction all over town.
Well, we've got somewhere around 1,250 miles of
Right.
street. So, there is still quite a bit to be done. But I've been in this job for almost 11 years, and I can tell you we are way better now than we were when I
Absolutely.
started.
Yeah.
Is there a big advantage to concrete streets over asphalt? I know that's been an ongoing debate. They're cheaper to maintain after they're built, right?
They're cheaper to maintain after they're built. I think you do get some early honeymoon in terms of maintenance.
Right.
But it's a little bit more difficult later.
Really?
Asphalt, you can go mill and overlay very
Sure.
easily. And,
Right.
And what you see with concrete is you start having problems and the ride quality goes down. You'll see them go in and sometimes put asphalt overlay over concrete.
Right. Not the way it was drawn up at the planning meeting.
No. And we should get Ernie on at some point in time.
Yeah, this is
Streets,
really.
yeah.
I really recommend if you want to talk about the pavement, get the public works director Ernie De La Garza.
Well, one of the things that I hear
Ernie's
about
awesome.
out here is that there's a difference between building on sand out here on the island, streets and even foundations, and the black dirt
Speaking of
in
foundations,
some other parts of town. That sand is better, really.
It is better, but that is a two-edged sword. One of the problems that we had on Waldron, and we just finished a project, I think maybe a couple of years ago, where we repaired a whole lot of panels that were deflected on Waldron.
Right.
And some of that was due to the fact that as the subgrade gets saturated and it's sandy, and you've got traffic over it, it'll push water with sand out through cracks,
Right.
through the joints, and so you'll start basically mining material from underneath the road.
and it was where every storm sewer went underneath.
I noticed
the road.
that.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, they didn't bed the.
You get a little dip there.
yeah,
I noticed that.
There's a curb inlet on either side, and then there's a dip.
And that's
The
just from
contractor-
water-
The contractor didn't bed the storm pipes.
That could be it wasn't bedded correctly, or it could also be that sometimes they don't get the joints sealed properly, and it'll mine sand through the joints and create a
Joint
bit of
sealing
fire.
and void filling. I wonder who could do that.
Right, exactly.
Complete foundation repairs. Thank you. We're at Island Moon Thursday live with Docs, our friends at Docs, and we want to give Docs some kudos and tell us. Did you have the meeting here at Saturday at Docs?
No, we had the meeting at Gulfstream. But
Okay.
I had lunch here on Monday, and it was very good.
You have a party coming up on the 30th for Mardi Gras, right?
That's correct.
Well, Doc's Seafood and Steaks is a place to go if you have parties you want to plan, if you want to just have a good time and enjoy some great seafood. They do have steaks for those of you
They
who
do.
I don't like seafood. I don't know why you wouldn't surf and turf.
Then
is
you
always
live in
good.
the wrong part of the country.
Yeah, exactly. And Doc's gets They get the fresh black drum for the fish tacos, just right out there. And now you can't even see the causeway; it's that foggy.
Yeah, I noticed.
So make sure you're got your eyes peeled to the road this morning. So back to Doc. So one of the favorite things that Jacob always gets out here, he gets the stuffed flounder.
Yeah.
And he's kind of moved around. He's tried some other things. I know Blake used to love he said the best fried shrimp is out here. They do have wonderful seafood and steaks. And of course, if you want to pull up your boat and just come out here on the weekend when we have these nice, well, not this weekend, but
Yeah.
when we have the nice weather, when it's
Right.
65 and 70 out and you want to just like step off the dock and come have a toddy or whatever, Doc's is a place to do it. So the best sunsets in
Yeah.
town and some of the best seafood in town is Doc's Seafood and Steaks. Okay.
And
carry on.
the Fat Friday Mardi Gras kickoff party is coming up the end of this month,
The 30th, right?
30th.
And that's
28th,
are you going to
30th.
announce the king and queen or
They are. They've chosen them. I don't know who it is. I know it's not me. That's all I care about. So
I have a little something. The only
Stevie?
the only reason I stopped by this morning for 5 or 10 minutes was to say that on the night of that party, unfortunately or fortunately, I will be in San Juan, Puerto Rico,
Ah.
waiting to get on a cruise ship. So I will.
so ICE
miss-
got you, did they?
I will miss. Yeah. My wife keeps telling me, "Stay out of the sun. You're half Italian and you look like a Mexican." So that 30th, the night of that party, will be the kickoff of a brand new beer from Beach Ball Breweries, our friend Beach Ball Breweries, right over on Waldron Road,
Okay.
and it will be introduced the night of that party and available here downstairs at the Waterline during that party only.
What's it called?
Thank God it's Padre.
is it a pilsner or
It
a
is
lager?
a strawberry blonde ale, because who doesn't like a strawberry blonde?
Aye.
Okay.
So what's going to happen is, being that it celebrates the island, he's going to introduce it that night, so it will be available here. And then the grand kickoff for the beer is going to be February 13th at the brewery.
Okay.
All day long from 2 until 9. So we're going to make an all day long thing of it. We have been talking about this going back and forth, and since I own the copyright to the song and the trademark to the
Right.
phrase and a few things like that.
Thank God it's
They had,
Padre.
they had approached me. Rob had approached me years ago and said, "Listen, I really want to do this beer, and I want to call it Thank God It's Padre. What would you want?" So we sat down and we talked about it. I said,
A six-pack.
I don't need a whole lot. They got new trucker caps. So one of the things that I'm going to throw into the deal is I need a new trucker. I need a new Beach Ball trucker cap. But we came up with a little thing that, hey, how about just this much on a drink? And they sell it by the keg. So we say, every time a place sells out a keg, this much.
You get a
they'll
tenth
make
of a penny.
Well, they'll make a. No, we figured it's gonna probably work out to somewhere between a quarter and 50 cents a pint.
That's a musician's retirement fund.
And the thing is,
You two can make hundreds of dollars a year.
well, I'll tell you where it gets worse than that. Because actually, what I'm giving away is a lot more than what I have ever taken. These donations that on the 30th, the donation money will go to the Barefoot Mardi Gras
Good.
Foundation. That one night, when it's reintroduced to everywhere, all around, anywhere they send their beer, on the 13th of February, I am going to take my portion of it, and that donation is going to go to Gulf.
And go to Puerto Rico?
Gulf.
Yes. Perfect.
Gulf Shores Animal Humane Society. So for all the dogs I've had and for all the dogs that need help there, I'm not going to take a cut of it. My cut is actually going to go to there. So that second night, the 19th or the 13th of February,
Yeah.
Gulf Coast Humane Society will be there.
Oh, good.
With a little booth to let everybody know that every time you buy a pint of Thank God It's Padre, you're actually making a donation in
Oh,
honor
wow.
of
That's
TD and all of our dogs.
Yeah.
So that's
I'm
the
Douglas
end.
at the
So I told him
moment.
I need two things. I just need a tap paddle that says Thank God It's Padre that I can, and now I need a trucker cap.
Well, we know where you can get a trucker cap from Impact Marketing.
That's right.
Yeah. Ted.
Ted.
We get you all set up on that. Well, good for you. So you can have? Are you going to have one of those black velvet paintings of dogs with drinking beer?
I'm
Beer
gonna
mugs?
believe me. Once again, I'm just gonna run this for everything I can. And, I got 5 years out of the song, and now you give me a beer, and I got a whole new marketing.
I didn't realize it'd been that long.
18. came out, and you know what the worst part about it all was? It really took it. We did the video just before COVID,
That's right.
which put a quash on us. Really,
We went up to, you went up
Yep.
to the Zone Studio
Yeah,
in Dripping
well, you
Springs.
came up in memory. Yeah, we did it.
And
but
I
it
went
was-
up there and shot
yeah,
video.
It was done in the best studio in Texas.
Didn't Joe's production company Gazens do the video?
Joe
Yeah.
and his
Daughter.
daughter Melissa. Yes, they're
Joe and I shot it, and she edited
and
it.
she edited it.
So when are you going to add the HEB feet?
I know.
To the song.
I know. Well, I've already added the second verse now that the Don Patricio bump
Gotcha.
has been finished. So there is a verse about that, but you guys are going faster than I can come up with verses.
We're building bridges
So
faster
now
than
we
you
read-
can write songs.
The Commodore's Bridge went up and down before I even got penciled.
For those of you who don't know what HEB feet is, that's what you get when your kids are walking barefoot through HEB and you look at the bottom of their feet, it's HEB feet. So
Exactly.
we have to
And-
explain these
Right,
inside
right.
jokes.
When not being a native Texan, at one point, I was at the beach and somebody said, "Damn, boy, you got some serious HEB feet." I said, "What?" And they said, "Like those little kids running around HEB." I looked at the bottom of my feet and I was like, "Whoa."
Well, you haven't been playing much. You've been on hiatus.
I have had some health issues,
Yeah.
which I don't know that they're ever really going to rectify themselves.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You have to take up the drums.
No, that would make it worse, actually. Yeah,
Harmonica?
Yeah, that I could do with the little brace, you know.
So thank God it's Padre beer at the Mardi Gras.
It will be
kickoff.
at the Mardi Gras. Rob has told me it will be available one night here on the island. Then we're just going to kind of shut it down until February when it's released, you know, countywide and anywhere they send their beer.
You going to do anything for the Mardi Gras parade?
For the parade itself, nothing except drink beer and sit in the sand. We'll have just gotten back from our trip.
Oh, so you get free. You got. Thank God it's Padre. You didn't get any free beer.
Well,
out of
the one
deal?
thing I wanted was I need something, and I need a pass to drink my own beer for free. I'd like to be able to go in somewhere, and
Get a tattoo.
order one. Yeah,
We'll get you a bracelet.
Get another one. You know,
Complimentary bracelet.
Just,
QR code.
yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
Look at this. Oh, you're the guy. Here's your beer.
Okay, so you're.
That's what I had to say. To
So
the
the news there is the Mardi Gras party will have its own brand of new beer coming out.
Well,
Strawberry Blonde.
The island itself will have its own brand of beer starting February 13th. They're going to keep it going for a while. It may end up being a seasonal that they'll bring back every year, and it may end up being an all year long beer. They'll see how the sales go. So I appreciate you letting me get my time in. I know Rob and I believe, are going to stop in the Thursday just before February 13th to make sure everybody knows about it. By then we might have some other news about
Okay.
the thing. Like I said, we're trying to involve the Humane Society at that event since that brewery is an indoor-outdoor
Right.
pet-friendly
So
place.
Well, bring your dogs and
so
drink.
You can bring your dogs, so it's like a bark
And
and brew.
And you can let your dog drive home.
Exactly. Well, dog can probably
Or cat, Toonses.
better than me. Exactly.
It's good at left turns, sucks on right turns.
Exactly, but we'll probably have some more news on
That's
that.
awesome.
But next Thursday will be.
Well, good deal. It's always good to see you,
So
Stevie.
good to see all you guys. I appreciate your time.
Good to see you, my
Yeah,
friend.
yeah.
So you're going on cruises and going to Puerto Rico.
I'm fine. Yeah, well, we're out of Puerto Rico. We got like 5 islands. It's a 7-day. This is our big kind of retirement cruise.
Oh, is it a barefoot cruise or?
It is
HEB
No,
feet.
but it is.
Cruise,
It's a no child. It's on Virgin Cruise Lines, which we've done before, which is no kids, and it gets a little wild. It gets a
Oh,
little.
no.
You got a boat full of virgins. You got no children.
Cray, yeah.
Oh, no. That sounds hazardous.
We actually have what would be called like the captain's suite.
Yeah.
You know, on another line, there's only two of them. They're 2,200 square foot indoor and out. So, yeah.
So it's the ones that come with
we're going with a bunch of folks from the island. We have the suite to ourselves, but we're allowed it.
Is that the one that comes with a guitar?
Comes with 4 guitars. I got to pick them. So you get an agent, you get a rock star agent that calls you and says, "Okay, what would you buy?" You know,
Get the chocolate M&Ms out.
Well, they literally ask
Green.
you. They literally ask you, "Okay, now you get the." I can't think of the name of what they call that little list, the rider list.
Yeah.
You know, they said, "You want MM?" I said, "I really like Twizzlers," and they're like, "Fine." I said, "I like Swedish Fish." They're going, "No problem." They're going, "You're asking us for really easy things." I said, "Well," I said, "For the guitars, I'd really like a Telecaster, a Gretsch White Falcon, a Martin acoustic, and a Gibson Les Paul. So the girl calls me back next time. She says, "You got all your guitars?"
Really?
I said, "Fine." I said, "By the way, what kind of amps in the room?" She said, "Oh, it's a Marshall." I said, "Okay, we're good."
Man, that seems like that's loud for a cruise ship.
We're good.
I wouldn't want to be your neighbor.
They have a soundproof.
Really?
I can show you the pictures later on. They have a soundproof music room that you play in.
Wow.
It's pretty wild. The outdoor, instead of a deck, you're going out on the lanai. It's about 1,000 square foot deck. You have your own hot tub and all that kind of stuff. So, but we're bringing, a bunch of our closest friends are coming with us. They also
Right.
have suites right down the line, but we've got the lead one right in the front of them.
That sounds expensive.
Well, you do it once. It's like going. People go to Europe.
Yeah.
And do that kind of stuff. We just said, let's go down where it's warmer, and let's go in a big silly room where there's guitars, and let me have some fun. Maybe I'll come home with a song.
There you go. Yeah, you need you're due for a follow-up.
I am way due.
You're now
Well,
7 years in?
I have to. We've been through this before. I've got tons of old recorded music. It's just
Yeah.
a matter of what would fit. What I could bring back. What people have never heard down here. That's
Yeah.
old and recorded.
How about thank God it's Flower Bluff?
Yeah, I have to change. The famous line, "Nothing good ever happens OTB," and now I teamed up with a brewery.
OTB.
OTB. So I got to kind of rewrite my own song, take all those stickers back.
Yeah, that's right. You did have they added the bridge. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I just figure I'm working with somebody OTB now, but you got to look at it this way. Now, when you're on that side of the bridge, you can look over and say nothing good happens OTB.
Right.
That could be us.
Well, all right. Well, so we'll see you then on what's the date again?
I'll be back by the week of like the 8th, and I'll be around. I'll be around for that 13th. At the 12th, we're going to try to make a pop-up appearance here,
Oh, okay.
and then the
Okay.
13th at Beach Ball Brewery.
Yeah, I think-
which is right on. You just make it right on Waldron, and it's right over on your left. That large building, 3 big garage
Yeah.
door, a building, and that's the brewery and the ale house.
We may have some Barefoot Mardi Gras folks stopping in later today. That's coming up. We'll have them on as we get
Yeah.
closer. Dan Harrington and
And
Stephanie.
this was supposed to be a big secret, and I was out with Dan and saw you the
Yeah.
other night at Dan's kickoff party, and everybody came up to me telling me what I was not supposed to be telling them.
Right.
Dan, I heard about beer, and I said, I didn't think anybody
That's
was
the way it
supposed
works.
to know. Well, Coconut Telegraph.
right.
All right,
So
listen.
all it takes is it leaks out one place, and then the next thing you know, you're
It's
brewing.
telephone.
Yeah.
Have you heard?
You're making mezcal and
Yeah,
Gregory.
yeah, exactly. Have you heard Stevie Stark got picked up for making bathtub gin? All right. Well, listen, guys. Have a great day.
All right. Well, thank you for being here. We'll see you then.
Thank you for giving me my little bit of time.
Right. So, speaking of February 13th, February 12th actually is the grand opening, the Gold Shovel kickoff for Commodore's Park.
Yes.
So, are you going to be there with your gold shovel and everybody else?
Well, I'm usually not one holding the gold shovel, but I will probably be there.
You hold the real shovel, right?
Well, I pay the people that hold the real shovels.
right.
So, the kickoff for Commodore's Park, and Dale, we published the newest layout.
Yeah.
They said it wasn't the newest layout for Commodore's Park, and there were some things that were conspicuously absent from previous layouts.
There were some changes there.
There were some changes.
I
for
published
sure.
a map, a diagram of the work about a week or so ago, and it's the one that went to City Council. And then I got a call yesterday morning saying that one was old, so I published a new one. I'm not sure what the changes exactly were, but I know there
Stevie.
was some in there. But it's phase 1 is what's kicking off on the 26th, I believe it is.
Correct. I mean, there's going to
It's the
be
only
covered
thing I
basketball court, a couple tennis courts, pickleball courts, parking and walking trail, playground.
The walking trail was the big one. So
That's the change.
That's the big change. So originally the walking trail was supposed to go around the circumference of the park and actually connect to the rest of the neighborhood through Aquarius, right?
Right.
So we've got that linear park there at Aquarius that connects to Dos Marinas and gets into the neighborhood. However, that was conspicuously absent from the latest layout. So all the components in phase 1 are just completely isolated. So we're going to wind up with the pickleball courts. They moved the parking into the back, which is kind of okay. They're kind of running the parking around it. But the pickleball courts are right next to Commodore's Drive, right?
Okay.
So
So a stray
people-
pickleball could fly into traffic.
oh, dude, that would, yeah, on a good southeast week. No, actually, on the southeast week, you'll have to smash the crap out of it to get it into Commodore's. On a north wind, though, maybe. But I foresee that a lot of people that are going to be playing pickleball are going to park on Commodore's because that's the closest way to get to pickleball. Because I don't know about you guys, but you know, pickleball is very active. However, it's not that active.
Well, I
So-
see that I live right by Aquarius Park, and they set up their temporary pickleball court there, and there's 10 or 15 cars out there parked along Aquarius on a regular basis. There's a lot of them.
Yeah.
And you don't want to mess with the pickleball players, I tell you what.
No, that's great. So the kickoff, the contractor's already been identified and awarded, and so once we get the kickoff meeting on February 12th, they should get going and as fast as the concrete can drive. So, yeah.
Jeff, are you working on the skate park with that project?
We are working on
Village
that.
Park.
I don't really have much to report. We've got to have some discussions about how we're going to deliver that.
It's in design, isn't it?
Correct.
But there's funding through, I think it was through the TERS.
Yes, that's correct.
$800,000, if I
Yes.
remember. And
Yes, and I got to give Jeff kudos for grabbing that project and getting it down
it
the
moved
road.
fast.
Yeah. Yeah.
It moved quickly. They've got it. Is there one of the questions that I get is, I know it's in Billish Park. Do you know where in Billish Park it's going to go yet?
Gee, I don't have that information with me, Dale.
Well, I just
I should
wondered.
have brought my computer so I could.
Yeah, right.
Well, I
sure
just
it's-
they said somewhere on the north end was the only thing I heard.
Right. And Jeff,
Away from houses.
And Jeff, you did the skate park at West Guth, right?
West Guth, we put a skate park in.
Right. So
yes.
this is old hat for Jeff. So he should be.
Well, it turns out we have some skate park designers of some renown that live here on the island that are helping to put the design together. That's what I hear. So I guess people that have done it in other places and that sort of thing.
Design build. Kind
Yeah,
of.
and on the West Guth, they used somebody. It was one of the typical design engineers that designed the improvements for the park, but they had a sub that specialized in skate
I guess
parks
that's a
that
kind of a
designed
specialty deal, huh?
I know.
Was it skate park? What is there anything? One of the questions that I get is the Incantata going from the culverts that are there to box culverts. Is there any movement there? What's the status of that project?
that. Well, it's not moving. I can tell you that. So
The
I
issue.
know there's a desire to get the box culverts.
Right.
I think the driver on that is a desire to improve the water quality.
Right.
In those canals. There's been discussion about dredging that and
Right.
PIPOA.
That seemed to be kind of where it stuck.
At one point, PIPOA said they were going to go get that dredged, and then they've kind of backed up on that. I think if we get the dam out and we get some dredging done, it may be that the existing culverts
Yeah.
would move enough water to help with the water
Right.
quality.
Is the city's not really involved in the process of getting the dam out, right? That's kind of between the private parties, I guess.
It's between the private parties, and we've had discussions. The city's been party to multiple discussions on this, and I think once we get the Commodore's connection made,
Right.
I think that would address a lot of the concerns that PIPOA has.
Right.
Now, unfortunately, Jay's working on that core permit on connecting that.
So and that's going to be done by the end of the week, I think, right?
Of course.
Now, I did get the Park Road 22 bridge, Dom Patricio Bridge, permit in 10 days, which is unheard of.
Really?
But yes. But
Wow.
Yeah, that was a
How
stroke
did that
of genius.
happen?
Trade secrets.
Well, that project, boy, you talk about, and I'm sure you were involved in that, Jeff. the
Absolutely.
Don Patricio Bridge, man, that thing, it would move and then it would stop and look like it was dead, and then it would pick up again, and then the ISAC came in and put in, I think, $4 million in funding, and then it finally came down to the Axis crowd having to dig the channel on the west side in order to get the bridge going.
Well, there was a lot of concern. The city didn't want to
Bridge to nowhere.
bridge to nowhere. They didn't want to get tarred and feathered with that, so they wanted to make sure the developer was going to uphold their end.
Right.
So they worked out a developer agreement that had sort of a cascading series of actions that if the developer took an action, we would take the next step.
Right.
And then, wait for them to take the next action. But yeah, they had to build part of that canal before we actually issued notice to proceed on
That was
construction.
the canals had to be substantially complete I think was the language. And Greg Smith was the council person and was able to, took him out and took the city manager out and pointed at the canal and the bulkheads going in and said, that's substantially complete, and the bridge got built. Which now we have a bridge to somewhere. The city's met its obligation, but we can't really get to the bridge yet without a four-wheel drive car. That's kind of where we are.
The bridge is there, there's water underneath, but you can't get very far in a boat.
Right. You got a lot of speed to get over that dam over there.
Kind of like the James Bond movie.
Yeah, I could kind of see that. Now there was also some bonds we're talking about down at Sea Pines, I think, to do some road work down there. That's kind of been put on hold, I think, is what I heard at one of the ISAC meetings.
It's been done. The Sea Pines has been repaved. The straightening of the turn, you mean on Park Road 22?
Yeah.
Yeah, that comes down to negotiations with TxDOT.
Okay.
And so that is muddle and that goes from muddle and puddle all the way down.
But there is a sidewalk going in down there on
Good.
around the school.
Yes, on Encantada. That's your project manager Renee Couture that's been pushing that and doing a pretty good job. So yeah, safe routes to school.
That's all funded, and it's just a matter of getting that through the pipeline.
I think it's through. I think she's. Gonna.
My understanding is that's moving.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to start construction here pretty quick.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome.
Well, that's, as you look around the island, we've got a lot of stuff. Getting that work done on the seawall is a big deal. You're going to, because we've been stalled with new construction down there since the 80s because of the uncertainty. And now, since you guys have gotten behind, taking over the maintenance, we already seen 2 projects coming in there.
Well, I think that's a huge deal, and it's probably not getting focused on enough.
Yeah.
Because, that prior to the city assuming that responsibility, it was private.
Yeah.
And those folks couldn't get insurance on it.
Right.
They laid awake at night worried somebody was going to fall and sue them, and so the city
Liability.
took that over. Now, I was concerned about having responsibility for that,
Yeah.
and have another Allen situation, and then the city having
Right.
that financial responsibility. So I've taken steps, and I think I've got a letter from the Corps of Engineers that will prevent them from pulling the same stunt they pulled with us on Packery Channel.
Right. And that has to do with whether or not it's a flood control project or
Well,
something like that?
yeah, so there's a flow chart that FEMA goes by, and if it's something that qualifies under the Corps of Engineers definition as a flood control work, it is not eligible for FEMA permanent work, they call it.
Right.
And so they told us Packery Channel was a flood control work, so
It's a beach renourishment work.
it had to be the Army Corps. And then the Army Corps said, well, in theory, if you'd been in this annual monitoring program, you would have been eligible, but you haven't been, so you're not.
Okay.
And I thought, okay, this is a simple email, we'll clear this up.
Right.
We had a project cooperation agreement that we entered into with the Army Corps and made it crystal clear that after it was turned over, it was city responsibility. Additionally, after Hurricane Ike, they had damage, and they went to the Army Corps to get some help, but I had another letter from the Army Corps that said basically, refer to your project cooperation agreement, not our problem. It took a year and a half to
Well, one of
get.
the things that people there's kind of a misconception about FEMA. They don't come out like when the Harvey damaged the jetties. They don't write you a check to go fix the jetties.
No. So what happens, FEMA operates a lot like an insurance company. You could think of it that way. Now, if you're a political subdivision, you get FEMA public assistance, and you don't have to pay any premiums. Just be in the United States and be a political subdivision.
Right.
But that doesn't mean you get whatever you want.
Right.
There's all this
They got
fine
rules.
print And they are looking for ways to deny you. And you never get a total green light. They don't give you the money. You know, you apply for reimbursement,
Right.
and you may get it, you may not. And they
Right.
can always come back and claw money back out of you. And that's what that arbitration was about, because I thought they were poised to claw out a couple of $1 million back out of us for correcting erosion that had happened after
Right.
the date of the hurricane.
Right. And there probably was some, because those jetties were down for what, 3 or 4 years before the
Oh,
repair
there was a
part.
lot, and that block mat is what protected against erosion, and it was chewed up, so the erosion was accelerated by the Harvey damage. But anyway, we prevailed, but we had to absolutely drag them to court to
How much damage did Harvey do to the jetties? Like $20 million or something?
this, the construction contract was just south of $15 million.
15.
And we're expecting to get around 14 out of federal government on this.
Wow.
Well, the feds and the state.
One of the questions I get a lot, do the Packery jetties need to be extended out? Has there ever been any talk of doing that? I know when they built them, there was a debate about it right after they were built, but to keep the channel from getting shallow at the mouth of it, has anybody ever looked at that?
You know, I haven't heard any discussions on that, but I know when you're designing something like that, you know, the deeper you go,
Right.
the cost per linear foot increases. But you are correct. You know, if you got out in really deep water, it might help with shoaling at the mouth.
Well, it would seem like when you open it to flow, it would help that as well.
The flow helps. When you have storms, they probably blow that shoaling out.
Right.
And, you know, we're probably, as we get more navigation there, we probably got to pay closer attention to the shoaling, and we're probably going to have to be doing maintenance dredging more frequently.
They maintenance
going
dredge it to 14 feet, is that right? Or 8 feet? They dredge it to 14 and try to maintain it at 8, isn't that
Yeah,
right?
well, there's two different levels. One on this side of 361, one on the other. And I can't remember exactly what those are.
But they dredged, I think when they dredged it, they dredged it to 14 feet, if I remember right. And then I guess it silts in over time or something like that.
Yeah, it will silt in over time, and you've got to periodically come in and do that. But the beauty of the Packery Channel is with the orientation, and this was thought out when they were designing it, trying to design it in such a way that it would be largely self-cleaning.
Right.
And it has been. They originally thought they would have to dredge it every year.
Right, I remember that. Yeah. And the monitoring program was done at the Blucher Institute, I think, for a long time. And then sometime around 12 or 13, they discontinued that. I guess that's what you were talking about with FEMA.
Well, we do it, I think, so what happened under that project cooperation agreement, we had to continue intensive monitoring on it.
You're monitoring
for 3
depth,
years.
water flow.
Depth.
Depth.
And sand movement. And so after that requirement was extinguished, we still continued doing it for several years. And, you know, after doing it for like a decade, I think we had pretty good
Yeah.
base understanding of how it behaved.
Right.
And so we contract out bathymetry, you know, when we need it and make decisions
Right.
based on that. But you know, going out there and doing it 3 or 4 times a year, I don't think is really
I think we've
necessary.
had, 3 or 4 dredge projects after the original Packery. I think there was one in 12 or 13.
I think there's been 2 big ones and one kind of small one.
You see it they spread the sand out on the beach. You can tell
Most of it goes on the beach. Now, there, as you know, obviously you're going through there in boats. There is a lot of shoaling within the channel, particularly in that boat basin area where the boat ramps are.
right.
That we have not been targeting with dredging for a couple of reasons. I mean, it's not really in the navigation channel per se,
Right.
and then it's also material that's probably not going to be real good to put on the beach.
They talk about beach quality sand and non-beach quality sand, and
Correct.
they dredge down to the clay line, I think, right?
Well, yes, we try to monitor it. We don't want to put clay balls
Right.
out on the beach.
Right.
And
Got to be beach quality sand.
Yeah.
so one of the things we're looking at, and we're doing kind of planning and permitting now for having a dredge placement area where we could put some of that material that you don't want on the beach.
Oh, okay.
And you're already leasing one from the GLO. It's right there on the south side. So
okay.
the city's GLO lease isn't just the rocks in. There's also some area on
About
the outside
150 feet.
from Zahn on the north side. It's from Zahn Road to the channel, and then on the south side it goes to Paul's wooden barrier there.
That's where he always
So
cleaned
there's
it
a lot of
down.
area on the south side that actually could be used for that, and that's the way they designed it. That's called the Stilling Basin. What we call the jet ski basin,
Right.
It's actually a Stilling Basin. So the material is supposed to collect there.
Oh, okay.
You are listening to Island Moon Thursday on KUKA, Driscoll, Texas, 103.3 and 105.9 FM, and Island Moon Thursday. Coming up this hour, we've got Troy Adler. He's going to be talking about Briscoe King and Bob Hall Pier, I assume. We also have Stephanie's here for the Mardi Gras, and Jeff Edmonds has been here for the city of Corpus Christi as the
Catching up on some projects.
getting all squared up on that. So
We keep you busy out here on the island, Jeff.
You try to.
get those permits done, Jay. The weather forecast is looking. Well, people get scared. Right now we have fog on the bridge, so watch out. If you're driving around this morning, you know it's foggy. Keep those low lamps on. And this weekend, it looks like we're going to have a very cold, the coldest one of the season so far. Arctic air masses will be coming in on Saturday sometime. Then it will get close to freezing on Sunday morning. Then there's supposed to be a hard freeze on Monday morning. So, gather all your bread and milk at HEB right now.
And toilet paper for
get
some
toilet
odd reason,
paper.
you
Bring in
gotta
your
have
brass
toilet
monkeys.
paper.
I'm, I'm running out of toilet paper. I had
Jeez,
my last
please.
bundle I had in the freezer. I took out yesterday. So
Threw it at the neighbor's cat.
yeah. So you still have time today. It's going to be about 75 degrees, and the kids can go in there with HEB feet and just regular day. And then Sunday might be a different story. So keep it right here on Retro Radio CC, and we'll have more coming up.
Are you going to play a commercial, or are we just gonna?
Let's see what Ed's doing.
He's screaming into your phone.
Right
on the spot.
Well, I tell you what we can do.
Well, we can ask Jeff if he's got anything else that he wants to talk about Island Way. Do you have any projects coming up? Anything that you want to get done? What's the engineering focusing on the island?
Oh, I can't think of anything. Get this seawall done. Get a permit, Jay.
Okay.
I don't want you to be a long pole in a tent again.
I know, right? One question though that I've been thinking about: you guys are planning on doing another water line to the island, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah, they're going to do a redundant line. Now that we've got the new water tower in Flower Bluff, it's stair stepping, so we're going to get another water line out here. Right?
How big?
I don't know.
Not very. We don't have much water. Maybe a little bitty water line.
A dust line, yeah. Exactly.
Save money on the lines.
Half inch.
Right, exactly.
Well, we got two to the water lines to the island now, right? I believe.
I think we do.
They just built a second one here about 4 or 5 years ago, kind of right under where we're sitting.
Yeah, I think one of those is the one doing the heavy lifting that's got the higher pressure.
Yeah, one of those went out one time last year or the year before, and nobody had water for about a day and a half. Remember that?
No,
Right over here?
somebody left a valve open on the water tower down there off Sea Pines.
Yeah.
And,
Really?
come to find out, that thing will drain pretty quick.
The mosquito factory.
Right.
Well, I remember when that water tower was built, they had trouble with water pressure, I think, filling it up or something. There was always some issues.
Hence the redundant line.
That was, if you remember, that water tower, there was a PIBA luncheon in about 2010 where Mayor Henry Garrett came out to the island, and someone asked him, well, what are you doing for the island? And he said, I'm building a water line. I got $14 million. Well, it turned out it cost $14 million in 1951. But in 2010, it cost $41 million. He had the numbers backwards. And so there was no way we were going to get $41 million to build a new water line. So the stopgap was the water tower. That's how we got the water tower. And so a couple of years later, I don't remember if that was a bond issue, but it was in lieu of that new water line, the Henry Garrett water line that never happened. Because he came back about a month later and got up at the PIBA luncheon and said, remember that water line I told you we were going to build? Well, we're not going to do that. So that's how we got the water tower. Then we had a fight over what to paint on the side of it. right? We had a
Oh, yeah, but about
Paul
the
wanted
turtle.
it to say Upper Padre,
And then they had the like, well, let's advertise the Corpus Christi Water Department. It was like, well, wait,
Yeah.
why don't we sell the rights to it, like, the Thomas J. Henry Tower, Turtle Tower, whatever.
Right.
But, and then it was sort of a poor artist. First of all, it was like a tortoise that they proposed to put on. It's like, no, that's a tortoise, not a sea turtle.
somebody got that off online.
Yeah, well, one of those clips you get on Word, I think. Yeah, and then this one is sort of turtle, almost like a sea turtle. So,
Well, I've
Jeez,
noticed,
quiet.
Jeff, and you may know, I noticed there've been some work going on here on the JFK Bridge. I think they've had one lane down. It looked like they were doing some work on the guardrails or something.
That would be TxDOT.
Yeah, I guess that's right. Because it's been down to one lane off and on for the last month or so. Well, I can't think of any other big island projects we have going on right now. I mean, everything's in the pipeline, but it all seems to be moving along pretty well. The seawall is not one of those wants. That's kind of a need.
Well, I agree with you on that. And, if everything goes according to plan next week at council, we're going to get that thing moving full speed ahead, and hopefully Jay can keep up with us with the permitting.
I know, right?
Well, are there going to be...
So that's why I'm asking you about the water line and other future projects. I might need to start some permits, like yesterday, for projects that you guys are just thinking about.
Well, there was some talk about putting some shade structures down there and some benches and stuff, and apparently there was some pushback from some of the condo owners that didn't want it blocking their views, so they said there were going to be some
That's
public
fine.
meetings with the people that were down there.
That's
Yeah.
going to wind up in phase 2.
Well, so part of what's going on, we had some pretty, I would call them pretty minimal amenities on the thing. There was
Yeah.
some benches with little shade umbrella on it, but part of the agreement, when we got the easement from each of the owners, we said that we would get their concurrence with
Right.
anything that we were going to install out there.
Right.
And nobody wanted that. They
Right.
were afraid it was going to obstruct the view, and so we've kind of stripped that out. So we've got carte blanche at the parking lot
Right, right.
where the city owns. So we're going to put some landscape architecture type features there.
Right.
And maybe some of the other owners might be interested in having something in front of their property.
Right.
But the condo buildings, they absolutely didn't want that.
Well, that's that. Welcome to the island, right? You're going to put new stuff in front of me? Oh, I don't want that.
Well, they all want stairs and ADA ramps.
We are going to be improving that. That is
low,
going to be
yeah.
a big improvement.
Two of those going in, right? 2 or 3 stairs along the seawall.
Well, they're all getting stairs, but the ADA ramps, it's going to be budget dependent.
Okay. Well, that's good. But I would think the sandbox, the new bar that's going in, they might want to have some shade down there. I talked to the owner the other night, and they're trying to get open by spring break at the latest.
Well, if there's anything that they'd like to see, have them get in touch with us, and we'd love to have that discussion.
It's been the city, that city parking lot's been there now a long time, 10 or 12 years.
Yeah, and we get kind of a black eye over that because they say that the city basically stole the money from the owners out there to build that. But what they don't realize is that this was actually imposed on them by the state of Texas.
Right.
And the city helped them out to
Right.
fulfill the obligation
Right.
that was imposed on them by the state of Texas to resolve some of the property rights issues that they had.
There was a push, back in 2000, there was an agreement not ever put in writing that if the parking lot went in, then there would be, the traffic would be taken off the beach at the seawall. And there was a vote in 2008 to do that. But then the plan got complicated. When they got into the details, instead of just removing cars in front of the seawall, it went all the way up to the South Jetty, because that's when the private owners wanted a semi-private beach. That wasn't the city's fault. That was the property owners. And so the property owners paid for the land, bought the land to build the parking lot, which the city built. But then the final piece of the puzzle was the cars on the beach that never happened. The vote was in 2008. The voters voted it up, And then when Colleen McIntyre became our council person, she tried to put it in play, and the GLO came in and said, that vote's too old. You're 6 years out. You got to put it back on the ballot. And that's where it's been ever since. I heard one of the property owners the other day talking at that meeting, talking about cars off the parking lot. And I was thinking, man, we've been down this road twice that I know of, you know. And there's never really been a pushback on removing cars in front of the seawall. It's just that every time it comes up, it always expands, right? And once you get outside of the seawall, all your beaches are in play. And that's where you get the surf riders, and I understand that. It makes sense. There's an inherent conflict between people that want public access and private owners that want a private beach. It's just a never-ending process.
What's the status of Mount Packery for?
I was over there yesterday, and there were some trucks moving around. They're going to take some sand and move it over on the other side of Packery for the parade.
So do you have the permit, Jay, for that?
Get that parade permit?
Yeah. No, not the parade permit, but the city of Corpus Christi does have the beach,
The beach maintenance permit, that took about, I think, 5 years.
5 years
time.
for a renewal. It's
A
like,
long
and all they
time.
did was change the date and rubber stamp it, but it took them 5 years to do it.
It used to be on every
so I'm
ISAC
not-
agenda.
I know.
We have a report on the no progress report, sir.
I know, yeah.
And then it finally got done.
So I'm not the only one that has to wait 5 years for.
Well, we thank the beach maintenance people there. They did it last year for Barefoot Mardi Gras, when the first year that the parade went in front of the seawall,
Yeah.
and they're doing it again this year.
You have to hand it to city parks, at least that, they actually do have a plan, come to find out, so.
And we're going to live stream the parade this year on Island Moon Live on the YouTube channel.
And that will be Saturday, February 28th. It starts at 11.
We'll probably go on the air at 10:30 because we're going to probably have some parking.
So you'll have to save us a space for the Friends of Padre. We're going to have
Right, some of us,
big show cleanup. Will be
some of us might be a little late as we're doing the,
big show cleanup.
You just come right on up the beach and get in the parade.
Well, you mentioned this is after the Mardi Gras thing, so people will already have to be careful what you give up for Lent if you want to participate in the.
I caution people on that because you got yeah. So give up. I don't know, not going to parades or something. I don't know.
That's coming up on the 28th, and Troy Adler's joined us from. Come closer, Troy. Troy Adler's you are the chairman of the Nueces County Parks Board, Coastal Parks Board.
Yeah.
So
You should know. You used to be on it.
yes, I've forgotten. It's been
morning, Troy.
Slept since then.
it's been a while. So tell us what's going on with Bob Paul Pier and everything else.
It's looking good over there.
Well, good morning, everybody. Great to be here, and thank y'all for allowing me the time to come in and visit with you, Dale. It's good to get caught up with you and
Yeah.
listen to you today.
Yeah.
Overall, it's a great time to be a resident of the island. There's more things going on now than my whole lifetime
I
out
know.
there. And,
It's like the dam broke somewhere.
It is. Other than construction, I think everybody ought to be real excited about the things that are happening.
The pier is there. They're putting the finishing touches on the outward end of it, right?
They are. We're close to the end of the pier. They're putting in the handrails as we speak. And I can get to some of that stuff. I think what I'd like to touch base on the Bob Hall Pier is that a large team of county officials and engineers and architects and contractors and the Parks Board members have all been working diligently for years to get to this point. The pier is taller, it's wider, it's stronger than any pier we've ever had in the Coastal Bend. We anticipate the pier to be ready for a soft opening by mid-February. And I anticipate that we'll have a period of time there that there'll be no charge to use the pier while the construction continues on the concession space and the restaurant space.
So there's an issue with getting the lighting in. There's some kind of a supply chain issue or something, right?
Correct. The light poles, I guess it took a while to figure out what they wanted. Once they got them ordered, there were a back order, and those are not expected until about February 25th, if I'm not mistaken. But then they'll be ready to go up as soon as possible.
So
the power's already there.
Oh, it is?
We're waiting on power box that'll go on the concession building, and part of the restaurant. A different team is building those facilities than are doing the pier. So we're expecting Callan Marine to be done with the pier, hopefully, again, the second week in February.
So you'll have a soft opening, but so without lighting, it'll probably close at sundown?
We're thinking that's probably safest for everybody, but I've heard people can
have to wrestle with shark fishermen off of there.
Fish with. In fact, there's already people getting on the pier. So we're, they've got flashlights. They probably didn't have lights for a lot of years anyway. So
Right.
we need night lights as soon as possible, even for navigational.
I was out there when you guys did the last tour, and it's a pretty impressive structure, I have to say. It's very different than the old pier.
It is, and I was with you on that day when we walked out, and it was shocking. It's been 3 or 4 years since we've been able to do that, and to walk out and to feel just get past the third sandbar and keep going, and it was really long.
It's higher up above the water,
It's
too.
yes, sir. It's higher, taller, wider, stronger, built, designed differently. That I think that'd be a little in the past. The last one was built that we were supposed to go out with forklifts and remove panels, and
Right.
that just didn't happen.
Right,
And,
right.
This one it's got wooden inserts that should float out, and then we can replace those if those
So
are
if,
problems.
so if we get big water underneath it, those float out, you just put them back in.
And that's what happened with the first pier. With the last pier, the water scoured there at the end. It made the waves much larger, and
Yeah.
the waves came from underneath and broke it from underneath.
Oh, so the bottom changed while the
Yes,
storm
sir.
was. Oh, okay.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's what kind of got us there on the end.
So, Troy, we were talking earlier about the freeze that's coming up this weekend, and Briscoe King. Before we get into the new Briscoe King, the old Briscoe King over the past couple of years has been used as a staging area for some cold stunning turtles.
We're already doing that. We started yesterday.
Yeah. Okay. Good. So you guys are.
I've been in touch with Scott Cross. He's on top of that immediately. He's our parks director, and he's already getting the facility ready for cold stunned turtles.
That's right. So I'm part of that cold water collaborative with Dr. McKee and Dr. Philippe Tissot, and he's expecting a medium freeze starting Sunday and Monday. They'll start picking up turtles. So
Yes, sir.
set in the hundreds, not thousands.
Yeah, it's good. We had thousands in the past, and
Yeah.
this is going to be get us ready to do it again.
So that is one of the areas that we didn't see that coming, that Nueces County has really stepped up on, cold stunning turtles and housing them in the Briscoe King.
Yes, sir.
Jay, in your article in this edition of The Moon, I noticed you talked about that with Tissot about the cold stunning of fish. So they're not going to institute the deal where you don't go down the ICW. Is that correct?
I need to double check the email, but it's not. Yeah, it's not a fisheries event. It's a turtle event. So the turtles is when the seawater temperature gets, or the Laguna water temperature gets to 52.
That'll happen. Yeah.
And then the fisheries event is when it gets below 40.
And all the fish run into the channel,
Right.
and then a tugboat and a barge come along.
That's exactly correct. And really quick before we get back to that, the Gulf Intercoastal Association, the barge operators, have been a really good partner. Not all the barges are part of that
Yeah.
association, but
Right.
they've been really good about stopping barge traffic, namely from right here through the land cut. So they do
For
a
the
lot of
fish.
fish and turtles that way. But they've been a really good partner so far.
One of the questions, Troy, that we get is the restaurant on Bob Hall.
Yes, sir.
And I read a story we talked to a couple of weeks ago. You guys are getting up to the point where you're about to start writing the criteria to go out for requests for proposals. Is that right?
Good. Yes, sir. Absolutely. If I can back up just a little bit there, Dale. The restaurant and concession space are due to start in mid-February. So we've got a lot of things happening in mid-February.
Wow.
Hopefully they'll all come together.
Yeah.
LMC is the contractor, and they're anticipating a 6 to 8 months for construction.
Appreciate you.
And we're hoping that September we'll have a grand opening at the restaurant.
Wow.
So that's pushing it, but it's that's in the time frame that we're hoping for. The concession space will be built during this time. It's separate from the restaurant, and it'll have bait and tackle and snacks and drinks and restroom facilities. The RFP for the restaurant for the restaurant is to go out in April or May.
Okay.
It's approximately a 3-month process.
And that's where you just go out to restaurant operators and say, who's interested, bring us plans.
At that point, we will send out a lot of information, and the public will be able to go to publicpurchase.com.
Okay.
And at that time, if you're interested in the opportunity to be our concessionaire on that pier, you can go to again, publicpurchase.com to get to see the RFP. The Parks Board is excited to see what the opportunities are available for this space. The pier and the park are one of the largest income-producing assets that the county maintains.
That's always been the argument out here is we get return on investment.
We do.
Put the money in the park
correct.
where you get some money back.
Well,
Now-
we get back, we pay for our year's worth of maintenance, and we put an additional same amount of money back into the county coffers.
And that'll be 5,000 square foot.
Yes, sir.
And the building that people see there now, the foundation will still be there, but the building itself is going to be torn down and replaced.
That's correct. Yeah, it's, we were trying to use it, we may be able to use some of the structure, some of the beam, but that's gonna be, that's half of what the restaurant will be.
So what you'll take out to market and look for operators will be a shell of a building.
Correct.
With the plumbing and the wiring, I assume, already in.
Correct. Yes, sir.
And then the concessionaire will take it from the walls in.
That's correct. And so we're hoping with the RFP, if they want to come in and spend some money and make some, personal touches to it, we'll be happy to look into that. And if they want to spend some money to make it better, we're certainly okay.
Are
with
you
that
already
as well.
getting some tire kickers?
We have, absolutely. Yeah, we're,
Somebody wants to,
there's-
I heard it was going to be an 8-line parlor, is that right?
Yeah, I hope not. I hope not.
Well, the second story, you could use that.
Easy now, we've been there. It's, we're really optimistic and hopeful that something will come in maybe we're not even ready for. I mean,
Yeah.
we're really gonna open it up and keep our minds open to something new.
So
But
here's-
I don't want to back up. We enjoyed Michael Mays.
Yeah.
She did a great job. I was a regular attendee
Yeah.
there. I loved going there. The
all were,
karaoke, the environment, seeing the tourists all sunburned and covered in sand and having a
Right.
good time
Yeah.
and dancing around. It was a great
It was a
place.
surfer hotspot, too.
Certainly hoping that May will come back in and give us a proposal
She's coming
as
into
well.
the show here after a while. She's about to do some changes at her place here on the island. I think we're about to have a Cajun restaurant.
Troy, are you going to, is the board going to give any special consideration to locals versus a national chain coming in?
Yes, sir. Part of the process will be a scoring. When we have the RFP, will go out, and then we'll have a scoring system, and there'll definitely be added points for locals.
That's how they did it last time.
Yes, sir.
Were you on the board when they did that?
No, they had already done that one by the time I got on there.
Well, so Charlie was there, and they appointed I think a subcommittee or something.
We'll build a subcommittee. In fact, we've already started working on that within the Parks Board, and we've got some people that have done this, and we did it on the other time, last time, and so we're ready for that.
And you do different criteria, like what kind of how they're capitalized, all that stuff, and you rate them,
Correct.
and you go through
Correct.
that matrix and come up with a solution.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And then we'll pick the best score at the end, and then the Parks Board will make a recommendation to the Commissioners Court, and I look forward to.
So that'll be the
go.
process. You go out and you said April in
We're hoping
RFP.
April. Correct. We're hoping April or May. Yes, sir.
And that process will take 2 or 3 months, and you'll pick
Correct.
a concessionaire.
Correct.
Then they'll have 4 or 5 months, whatever it is, to build out.
To think about what they want to do. Exactly right. So we're we're hoping to be September for the restaurant to be open.
But once you get a concessionaire, their hairs are going to be on fire. They're
It will.
going to want to get the doors open.
They are, and build it the way they want it with the the pictures and lighting and some of the
Right.
things that they may want to make some adjustments to. And they're responsible for all their cooking equipment. We'll have them cooktop and power
Right.
but they'll be there to build it the way they want it.
Do you anticipate it being a revenue share like it was last time?
Sure, yeah. There's all kinds of options. We could move into long-term agreement. We're going to be open.
That's what the RFP process is
Open-minded on
for.
that process as well.
So people come in and just say, I guess they bid whatever percentage. It'll be a negotiated split on cash flow.
I believe the RFP will pick the person, and then once we pick the concessionaire, that we will at that point have the negotiations
Gotcha.
and how we're going to go.
Now there is a separate from what the concessionaire will have. You've also got a gift shop there that's separate from that. Is that right? Isn't there going to be a shop there to sell bait and that sort of stuff?
Yeah, so the restaurant, when you're coming up the pier, the restaurant will be on your left, and as you said, a 5,000 square foot facility. On the right side is where our concessionaire will be, or our concession stand.
That's
And
like the pay to
person
get on the
pay to get
pier
on the
and-
pier. That's where the gate will be. They will have bait, and the frozen bait. They're not going to have live bait. They're going to have snacks and drinks and tackle and
Stuff you forget to bring.
Stuff-
Right.
stuff you-
And so that's a good question. So are people going to have to pay to go to the restaurant, or will you be able to get into the restaurant for free? And then if you actually want to go out on the pier, you pay kind of like
Yeah,
it was last
like
time.
it was last time, yeah.
Okay.
You'll be able to walk up to the, I think you can pay a couple bucks and get on the pier just to walk out. If you're fishing, it'll be a little bit different charge.
Right.
If you want to go to the restaurant, it's just go to the restaurant.
Okay.
In fact, the restaurant's going to have outside seating, so you'll be able to watch the surfers and watch the fishing
Right.
pier. And one of the other things we're excited about, and you've seen it happen in the last few years at other places, is a location for the tourists to go take pictures.
Yeah.
And up on one of the main walls of the restaurant, we're going to have a big mural.
That's a good
And we're
idea.
anticipating having we've had a lot more interest in painting the murals than we've had in the restaurant at this point.
right.
So we're going to have a big decision in just determining what we want and how we're going to do the
Well, everywhere
the
you go,
mural.
you take a selfie where it says "Welcome to Sacramento." Or
Right,
something.
right. So, and that's what we're thinking. That's exactly what we're thinking. Something up on the pier, and we've had to make some changes throughout the design of the restaurant. We need some shade up there.
Yeah.
But the shade kind of blocks off the mural. There's a potential that we'll have a walk-up window for quick access to burgers and fries, and I'm hoping that the
So you can-
concessionaire will be able to take care of the people on the pier. You can just walk up to
Right.
an outside window and not have to go in and sit down to get food. Or if you're maybe you're at the beach and want some fries and a Coke, you can just run up, go right there to
Right.
the front door and get
Right.
something right there. So we'll have a little bit of a public area right at the top of the pier, and the concession will be on your right, the restaurant will be on your left, and hopefully we can have the concessionaire will be willing to have a
Well,
window there.
the concession for the restaurant is separate from the charge to go on the pier.
That's correct. That's
Originally, they were combined, and then when they redid that contract, they
correct.
separated the two.
At the IB McGee Horace Caldwell Pier, that they do it like that. The concessionaire runs both of them.
Oh, really?
But over here, it will be separate.
I know I'm looking down the road here, but what about the pier in Port Aransas? Is there any work going to happen there?
There's lots going on there, and I'll get to that here shortly.
Okay. Well, let's talk about Briscoe King.
Yes, sir.
Because we got, all of a sudden, a year ago, we had nothing. Now we got, we're going to start work on a
We're
Briscoe
so
King
excited about
Pavilion.
Briscoe King. Briscoe King is the residents, and I'm not a resident of the island, but I've been a resident of Corpus almost my whole life, and forever that Briscoe King has looked the same.
Yeah.
And smelled the same.
They
and
tried to air
slept
condition
floors,
it, and it was $3 million.
It's really, really rough, but it's used all the time. Jay's told me,
Yeah.
all the,
Absolutely.
That's all we got.
Both of my sisters got married. at
yes.
Briscoe.
Really?
It's,
Twice.
Not kidding. Yeah, well, one of them twice.
To the same guy.
So the Briscoe King has been a big ask from the city residents, or the county residents, and the island residents for a long time.
Yeah.
The project is again has a large team of folks that are working together for the betterment of the community. Our city and county leaders have worked very hard to establish funding, and we're
That's through the
excited to see
TERS.
the new groups of people that will be able to use the conditioned space.
That's through
I mean,
that's
we've-
funding through the TERS.
It is funding through the TERS, and the cities come together, the counties come together, the parks boards come together. It's really been a good group effort, and so we anticipate having city meetings there, the
Absolutely.
Padre Island
Nice.
Business Association meetings, weddings, reunions, Barefoot Mardi Gras, Sharkathon. The opportunities are amazing. We're going to have a whole new
The Friends of Padre
potential.
Fall Fiesta.
Right, a whole new potential list of people that can use that facility because it's air conditioned, and then it's also going to be built. If you look at it, it's 3 more pods, just kind of like the 3 pods that are there now, but they're
Right.
all elevated.
Right.
But we can block off a pod, so if you only need 60 people to have a little.
That's
meeting,
always been an issue
if
at
you
Briscoe
need-
King.
Right. If you want 300 people, we can move the doors back and open up the whole facility.
And in a total, it'll hold about 300 people.
Correct. Yes, sir.
And it is air conditioned space, and it's not an improvement to the existing pavilion. It's a new structure.
It's a completely
next to
new
it.
structure next to it, elevated with on piers. We will be taking one of the pods of the old facility and air conditioning a portion of that for offices, because we intend to get a vendor to run that facility. So if you want to rent the facility, you'll call this vendor and determine, okay, I'm having a wedding, so I need flowers and I need
I need a
catering,
groom.
and I need all that. If it's meeting space and they need projectors and screens,
Right.
they can make all those arrangements. So we anticipate having. We'll also be sending out an RFP for a third-party vendor to manage the location and these events.
What's the timeline on that, you think? You're talking about starting construction on the pavilion
Soon.
February.
Correct. And
So the funding is in place. The council just, think they've either already voted or that they may have one more consent agenda item for the last 2.1 million to get it up to a total of 8 million.
I think they're there, and then Troy, correct me if I'm wrong. I think they're at 90% design.
I believe so. Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Let me see here.
They're stuck on the mural.
Exactly right. And it's a good time for me to segue into the conversation that y'all had last week. The additional TERS monies that came in, we went back for additional monies, it was mentioned that it was from an oversight and the process was done incorrectly, Jay, by hiring an architect prior to an engineer, I think you said.
Hang on.
But you didn't have an opportunity to continue that discussion, and so
That's right.
I wanted to make sure we all realize that, but that wasn't completely accurate.
We didn't get to
The
finish it.
architect had a civil engineer as well as a structural engineer on their team during this whole design phase. The first request to TERS was determined by, and y'all will know this better than I do, the opinion of probable construction costs, which is
yes.
used through the RS means method.
Right.
And so they have a general determination of what the costs were going to be after 60% design, if I'm not mistaken. But we did anticipate there'd be additional costs once we got there. And once we got to the 90% design, that we'd have a better idea. And TERS did know that we were coming back for additional
Absolutely.
money.
Yeah.
As anticipated, there were additional costs associated with the new pavilion. We had additional ADA compliance requirements
Right.
that we really were unaware of. We had fire marshal requirements for additional
Fire lane.
for additional paving, yes, sir, at the entranceways. And then they essentially demanded additional water lines for new fire hydrant.
And also the septic system.
And that's right, exactly where I'm getting
That was
next, is the changes
Oh,
needed.
sorry.
We had an expanded septic system, and the septic field was actually just downwind of the whole facility, and I kind of raised my hand.
Yeah.
You raised a stake.
This may have stirred it up a little bit of some of our overruns, but we were able to move the septic field
Right.
to the west side of the parking lot,
Right.
which will get the
We blew it right into the RV park.
well, no, that's that's south of us.
Hard knocks.
Southwind, Northwind,
So
yeah.
we had
That'll enforce the 3-day limit.
We had, yes. So we had some, the expanded septic system. We also, at that point, had additional engineering to get to 100% on all the mechanical, electrical, and plumbing engineering. And as you know, prices on everything continue.
Well, there
to
was some
rise.
issues with having to sink pilings too, wasn't there?
And there were not, no, sir.
No?
That's what I was referring to earlier. Those, we knew originally the pilings were part of it. It was all elevated. That was already done.
And something like
that-
40 pilings that have to go down
They're-
30
you're
feet
right,
or something
you're
like
right.
that.
It was substantial. So,
So-
no, that was already all in the cost.
So what you're talking about is the finish out of
Correct.
the things. That's what caused the additional overruns. Okay.
So it'll be a one-story structure in 3 pods
Yes, sir.
with enough space for 300 people.
Correct.
And then you can put
Correct.
tables in.
And, well, that's just in that facility. You still have the other facility. We're not tearing down the old facility. It'll still be
Right.
available to use as well, so you can expand into that.
Will
And
they
so-
be connected at all?
Through a walkway.
Maybe a walkway,
right.
an over covered
So
walkway. I believe.
what's the finished floor? Engineering
The height?
question. The finished floor elevation of the new. and
It's at least
I
11
think-
feet.
Yeah, I think you can park underneath it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the picture. I think there's going to be room underneath the front end. Of
Shaded parking, wow.
I
Didn't see that coming.
I think there was a few spots. Maybe it's just going to be some room, but that was actually
Yeah, I'll chip
where
in
we
the
moved.
2.1
We moved.
for
We
that,
moved
yeah.
that septic system is actually going to end up being a playground, and so we're going to be able to access part from the east side of the building. We're going to be able to access and have an area that maybe kids can play and have
Perfect.
more room there
That's
as well.
awesome.
And I've been told that this request from TERS will not increase our taxes,
No.
and it did not take any money from the seawall
Correct.
At all. Both of those monies had already been allocated. Thank you, Jay, and that's
Right.
done. This project is truly about the quality of life for the taxpayers of Nueces County and all the residents of Texas and beyond. And really, the island folks need it for all the meeting
Yeah.
space.
Absolutely.
It's going to be a wonderful, wonderful.
And really, you
location.
know, when you think about it, $8 million for that facility, that's not really too bad. That's
You
a-
know,
bad.
this
Nobody's
is
fighting
not, this
against
is not, I think, one of those things that we need to look at ROI. This is one of those things that is used for, everybody's
Yeah.
going to use it. The city's going to use it. The county's going to use it. The locals are going to use it. You know, everybody can rent it. Jay's sister could get married again.
Again.
And have,
Same guy.
Have air conditioning. Have air
We knew the
conditioning
vows.
this time.
Yeah.
My
So-
parents had their 50th. We hosted my parents' 50th wedding anniversary.
Really?
there
Well,
as well.
and
Yeah.
it's we're, you know, we've got a lot of decisions to make on that as a board, but we've got to, you know, this is a good opportunity for me to say how good of the Coastal Parks Board of Commissioners is spectacular.
Well, the Coastal Parks Board is formed under a separate state rule,
Yes, sir.
completely separate from the county. So the process over there, you go out for RFPs, you guys process all of that stuff. For instance, the Briscoe King, but also the restaurant, and then it moves to the county commission for a final approval based on your recommendation because they're the funding source.
Correct.
And
But,
that-
but we're also managing county assets. You know, we're here to help them. They don't need to be doing all the day-to-day
Right.
legwork on this, and that's what our job
You're
is.
appointed by the county commissioner.
We are appointed, and it's we're here to give recommendations and let them make the decisions and let them pay for it.
I know it's a little bit outside of your bailiwick. There was some talk about a year maybe ago about selling off some county land. Is there anything, they were looking at selling Newport Pass, I think.
Newport Pass is the main target. They had a really nice piece of property in Port Aransas that they were considering, and fortunately we were able to change their mind on that facility. But the Newport Pass is got all the has opportunities for a lot of different options.
There were
And so-
some interested parties at
There
one
there
point.
sure should be. It's a tremendous piece of property, and again, that's a decision to be made by the Commissioners Court.
They did an inventory. They had a lot of unused property and was kind of surprised Connie Scott pushed that we need to find out what we own.
It is, and there just wasn't a formal list, and she was very proactive in determining what was available, and I think some of the inland parks they were able to make some
Yeah.
changes with, but they're not doing too much on the island.
Now, the county parks board, you contract with the city to do beach maintenance, correct? Does county used to do
County
it?
County does their beach, city
They-
does their beach. We had some overlapping, and we've kind of, okay, we'll clean yours and you clean ours.
Right.
And it's working real well.
It is?
Yes, sir.
So you swapped some beach on the opposite sides of the channel or something,
You're exactly right. Yes,
Because
sir.
we used to see the two crews pass each other.
That's right. We didn't want to do that. So Scott did great working with, we got a great relationship with the city. We got great communication, and we do whatever we can to make it more efficient.
What's going on with the beach parking permits? Are you guys involved in that?
You know, that's a decision that Port Aransas is going to do with or without us. And so I think with all the beaches the same, we haven't made a change. I believe I heard
It's
12
coming
years.
up.
And so,
Yeah.
you know, it's been $12 for 10 or 12 years. And I think if we have to go up to $20 a year, it's
Well,
probably
it
fair.
doesn't. It doesn't make any sense if Port Aransas goes up, and they've got some pressure to do some beach renourishment projects from the
Correct.
GLO. They need some funding for. It makes no sense if they go to $20 for us to stay at 12.
I agree.
Then you're going to have 2 permits.
You won't.
And it's-
I believe there's actually a split on who gets how much.
yeah, they're
And so
doing it
we're-
now by linear feet.
Yes, sir.
And the county gets 8% out of each of the Port Aransas and the city of Corpus. And Port Aransas kind of gets the short end of the stick, so that's kind of what's driving the process. Because they sell more
They
permits.
sell more permits, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I
They sell, I publish those numbers, and they sell, I want to say 60% of the permits or something like that.
Right, 2/3, yeah.
And so that's kind of, but we're probably going to have some beach renourishment projects on this end of on this side of the city.
Well, absolutely.
we've already gotten a couple of $20 million beach renourishment.
Really?
Not bids, but quotes, kind of, just saying, hey, that's about what it's going to cost. So we're going to need some beach renourishment in the future, but
Right.
it's a scary proposition.
They're opening up another new access road south of the city limits, and when they do, there's about 6 or 7 miles of beach in there that's kind of underused at this point. That is very narrow, and so you're gonna have to put some sand in there.
Right.
And
No, I
so
agree.
they're
I agree.
actually looking at offshore mining.
Really, I
Yeah,
wondered why they didn't
yes.
do that. It seems like a kind of a
Yeah,
no-brainer.
and there is some good sand out there, though.
So
Yeah,
it's
there's
beach quality sand,
yeah,
that's where
there's
it
some
came
beach
from.
quality sand ways off
And
the
they're doing
coast.
they're doing offshore mining up around Bolivar because they really just don't have any beach quality sand up there.
or
So
channels.
Well, it makes
Yeah.
sense if you think about it.
we've talked about it for a while.
Good. Well, one of the other things, if you got a minute, I can discuss is the Packery Channel Nature Park is there.
Oh, yeah.
Is there on
That's moving
the
along.
island, and Derrick Construction is we've got a project going on there which is called the Living Shoreline. We have a $4.4 million grant that LMC is going to be working with. It's a habitat and a boardwalk that we're extending. We're currently walking, as I said, on the Living Shoreline, and we're building a fishing piers there as well.
Yeah,
Really?
And that's a
So
restore grant.
we've got a $4.4 million project that is being funded by a grant that our Parks Director, Scott Cross, has acquired. There's no taxpayer money. The shoreline will be lined with riprap for erosion control, and a fishing pier that runs parallel to the channel will be built. And there'll also be a kayak launch site added, and the road that goes to the back of the park, which is horrible right now, and shake your.
I drove there yesterday.
It's we're not going to.
It'll rock your molars.
It will. We're not going to change that until we've got all the construction done, and then we'll get that road
So the
fixed.
pier's going to run not out into the channel along the
Correct.
shore.
It'll run
And the
parallel.
living shoreline is you put rocks out right
Correct. Yes,
away.
sir. And actually, Scott mentioned it's an oyster. Do you know that term?
Oyster
Jim?
gabion. So yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
it's a
so,
small. It's not going to extend into the channel very far.
No.
But it's a heavier riprap that runs along the shoreline.
Right. It's actually going to be a lot like what we built over at Whitecap NPI, which is right at the edge of high tide. So there'll be actually water that will get through the rocks, and they'll be able to plant spartina, mangroves, and things
Good.
behind it.
Good.
It'll be a great place. There'll be gaps in between. It'll be a great place to get bait. That's
Yes,
for sure.
that'd be
So-
neat too. So that's
and-
right
and
at
then
the kayak
some of
launch site.
some
Well,
of
I'm
the
glad that
sections will be over.
I'm glad to hear that's moving forward, because the issue of having public access along Packery Channel has started to come up as we've had more private property owners saying you can't fish here.
Oh, no, exactly right. I actually, that's, my parents used to take me there when I was a little kid. I've been to Packery my whole life, and to see it get expanded like this is just going to be terrific. In addition to the Packery Channel Nature Park, we also have the Packery Habitat and Public Access Enhancement Project. We'll be extending the current boardwalk there at Packery Channel by an additional 3,500 feet.
Wow.
And we'll be increasing the habitat there by over 3 acres with trees and shrubs. And these additions will assist birds during their migration and also offer the public a comfortable and safe place to enjoy magnificent bird watching.
So you're going to plant a grove of Brazilian pepper trees over there?
Oh, hey,
We're not.
easy
In
on
fact,
that.
I
So-
do.
Yellow rump warblers.
So the existing boardwalk is going to extend all the way to the living shoreline.
It is. It's going to go almost to the whole way. And so there's some
It's gonna be
wetlands
great.
in there. We're going to begin planting the trees and shrubs.
Yeah.
And I will get to the pepper trees here shortly. For several years.
Taking donations to buy those.
Yes, you'll see up in the front as you drive by, sometimes you wonder why we haven't mowed. But the good portion of it, of the Packery Channel Park, is for a pollination habitat for butterflies and bees. And we do let this area grow, let the flowers grow and the grasses grow to provide food and shelter.
That's
for these
that's at
insects.
the Packery Channel Park?
Correct, yeah. So we have the bees and butterflies and
And
birds
hummingbirds, yes.
and boardwalks and.
And they're doing some work on the Sea Life Center as well. We're going to have them on here in the next few weeks. They're
Good.
expanding that.
I'll get to
right,
that here
right
in just
there.
a second as well.
Oh, okay.
You're really
Man,
on
you got
top
a
of it,
list
Jim. I
there.
do. We've and we're also
Joy's
also
got good.
constantly removing the invasive pepper trees. So that is something
Right.
that's on it, but we're really all over that.
Troy, do you have when I was on the board, we had guarantees on the plants when you plant the things in there that the people who planted them would guarantee them for a year and take care of them and nurture them. Is that still the same case?
I wouldn't have a clue. If not, I'll call you to go water 'em.
Somebody's got to.
No, we're going to call Tyler to nurture them.
I'll nurture them and love them and hold them.
Hold them and squeeze them and call
I
them.
was sitting in a park board meeting years ago, and they had somebody from one of the crews said, we keep cutting those things down, and they just keep growing back. We just can't get ahead of them. And so they had it. The next time they had a tree surgeon person come in, and they said, well, what are you doing? When you cut them down, what happens? They said, well, if you cut them down, you just grow about 10 more. And so that's exactly what they were doing. They're going out and cutting them down. They couldn't figure out why you got to cut them down,
Dig them out.
put something down in the ground.
Something to kill them. No, they're a nightmare. It's a nightmare. Good. Jumping on while we're here, and I've got a little bit of time. We've also got the Padre Bayi and the I.B. McGee campground expansions.
Yes.
This is Restore Act or the BP funds.
Yes.
This is a $7.5 million
I forgot about
no
that.
taxpayer money project that we are also currently working on. Mako Construction was selected as a contractor through a bidding process.
Yeah.
What's the
And
work going to
at this
consist
point,
of?
We will just hang in there, Dale. Take a deep breath. I'm coming with
He's
you.
got it.
We've got 30 new RV camp spots at Padre Bayi Park, and we've got 8 to 10 new campgrounds, tent camping spots. We're going to add 25 RV spots in IB McGee, and another 10 camping spots is there as well. Both parks will have an additional new multi-purpose buildings with new showers, restrooms, and laundry facilities.
Oh, wow.
And then over in Port Aransas at the I.B. McGee facilities, we're also adding a 2,500-foot boardwalk around the wetlands for bird watching and nature hikes.
The laundry's a big deal.
And again, plant some native vegetation around that too.
Correct. We'll have vegetation there. And then actually it's going to kind of tie into a Veterans Memorial Park that we're kind of working on right now with Charlie Zahn.
Yeah.
In Port A?
In Port A, yes, sir.
Well, you got the gun emplacement up
And
there.
that's it, right there. It's going to go around those
Turrets or whatever they are.
turrets. There you go. There you go.
There was a gun emplacement from World War II.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Neat spot.
They
we
were
got-
fearing invasion from Ingleside.
right. We've got a lot of work going on at both facilities starting here in short order as well. So this next year, you're going to see some real improvements on the island. At Horace Caldwell Pier, you mentioned a minute ago, we have some concession work on the pier there. The concessionaire had been there for a lot of years.
Right.
We'd gotten a little stagnant over there, and we made a large investment in not redesigning, but updating the concession space there. And
You added a new pavilion there a few years ago.
we sure did. And that should be done by mid-February. We'll be also done with those upgrades, and we'll be sending out an RFP for a concessionaire there as well. And we're looking forward to increased services and revenues due to the renovated space.
You're going to have a busy February.
Yes, sir, we are. We really are.
You got Briscoe King coming on. You got to find a concessionaire for Bob Hall and Horace Caldwell, I guess.
Yes, sir. We're also working on the road repairs in front of Padre Bayi offices. If you've seen there,
I
once
have.
after the hurricane, the GLO, if I'm not mistaken, came in and started ripping all that
Yeah.
up, and we ran out screaming and begging, please stop.
Almost
and
got stuck there the other day.
It's terrible. It's terrible. But we're going to be repairing that entire road all the way to Bob Hall Pier. We also have to have ADA accessibility and emergency access for fire and emergency there. And we'll have a small parking lot that we're also
They finally gave
Absolutely.
permission for that, didn't
So-
they?
We did, yes, sir.
So what I highly recommend is that the engineer and designer go, there's going to be there's going to be a high need for ADA, so let's put in 50 spots for
Right,
ADA.
yes. Well, we missed the pier. The parking lot that we used to have was great.
Oh,
It really
yeah.
was. And once they ripped it out, it's like, oh no. And then they said we couldn't have it back, and so
Yeah.
we're going to miss.
What
that.
about the
But
picnic
let's put them all
tables?
ADA.
Picnic tables are something I think the Parks Board will get back to. Yes, we're going to. I think everybody really enjoyed those. But you could pull up to them and park on a cement or on the pavement, and then
Yeah.
walk 10 feet and be
Right.
there. Now, if you're just pulling up to the
You need a
the
four-wheel
sand,
drive.
we'll
And they
see.
made them peak so the ladies wouldn't suntan on the top.
Right, exactly.
And so, going back,
They used to be flat.
so Troy, also when you rebuild that access road, it's like, oh, we're going to have semis and all kinds of things that need to pass in here, and so we can make that
Deliveries,
road
deliveries.
50, 60.
Right, deliveries.
That's, I'm hoping for that.
Trash trucks.
The overpass kind of went the way of the dinosaur.
Oh, thank God.
It came up and then it went, wow. I
No,
don't think
no,
that's
no,
such a
no.
good
I
idea.
never liked
Yeah.
that idea. Real quick, some of the future projects that we've got going, I think the bathhouses are almost the same ones I used in 1965.
Yeah.
But we're looking at, we're needing to elevate the restrooms and the facilities both here and in Port
Boy, that
Aransas
gets
to
expensive.
get into FEMA
No,
requirements.
yeah,
So,
elevation, too.
and they need some love. So we'll be looking at those. We've got 6 miles of beach now that y'all know we're in charge of between
Yeah.
Bob Hall Pier and the Pins.
Yeah.
And that's where the bowl was and that whole area. So we're certainly open for suggestions as to what some improvements that we might be able to do there. We do want to, as you mentioned, continue assisting the Sea Life Center. That is on some of our property right there at Packery Channel.
Right.
And we've
They're getting ready for the cold stone season.
I'm sure they are. And we're also getting ready. The area behind Sea Life Center was a storage facility for some of our county equipment. And we're going to now clean that out and open up some of that for Sea Life expansion. And they're liable to build a hospital there. Not build probably a portable facility that they can use their hospital facilities out of. So
Yes.
that's an area that we're definitely big fans of the Sea Life Center and the things that they're doing, and we're going to continue assisting them.
They're over there working. I was over there yesterday.
And so I just got a note from Dr. Tissot about the cold stunnings that we were just talking about. They continue to be predicted all along the Texas coast, but they'll start a little bit later. So now it's going to be early Monday morning temperatures into Tuesday. So if you're a turtle responder, you don't have to suit up on Saturday morning. So
They'll be floating up all around us.
No doubt.
That's how
No
that
doubt.
goes. Well, you got a lot going on over there.
We have a lot going on.
They need to raise your
and
pay, Troy.
Thank y'all for
Yeah.
Yeah, this volunteer job it's worth it though. I've loved this community. I have no desire to get into politics. This is an area
Just
that
for
I
the
can-
record,
Right.
if nominated, I will not
You-
run.
No,
If elected, I will not
exactly.
serve.
You will not vote for me.
and Troy still curses me because years ago I said, "Hey, Troy, there's a real need for some leadership there on the coastal
Yeah.
County Parks Board," and I pulled him into it, and he still curses me.
I still
for-
like to kick you.
Charlie was there for
You
years.
pulled me into it too, and I
But
kicked you down the
it's,
street.
That's been great. But while we're there, the other couple of things that I'm involved in between CCA and their big banquet coming up is the Friends of Padre.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
very involved in that. I'm looking forward to leading another section again this year. So I know we've got a little conflict with Barefoot Mardi Gras this
Well, I-
year.
That's
but
okay. We've done it
Themes
before.
of Padre.
We've done it
So-
before, and we're going to show up and do what we've got to do for the beach critters.
That reminds me,
As
if
Billy said, show up, suit up, and get
get it done. If you need a vehicle for the beach cleanup, like a 4-wheel drive, I know the guy. His name is Frank the Bank over there at Discount Motors, and Frank can set you up. He's got all kinds of 4-wheel drives. He had F-250s,
He does.
some with the packages on the back.
Willie just bought a nice.
Yeah,
big
Willie bought a
Super
nice
Duty.
Super
Yeah,
Duty
exactly.
truck from him. It was great. So if you want to go see some of the best vehicles you can for driving around here, he's got a lot of late model stuff. He'll even buy some crazy stuff. Like if you have a Ditch Witcher, he'll like, well, I'll give you money for the Ditch Witcher. But Frank does better than all the guys across on SPID. He'll give you $500 more because he doesn't have that overhead. He doesn't have that guy that plays the game and says, hey, I have to go ask for the boss if we can give you the discount on this. And it's like, just go
Frank's
see
the
Frank.
guy.
Frank will do you right, and he did it. My buddy Roadkill Willie right with the new truck, and go see him. He is right there, just the other side of Turner's before the theater, and they've got the construction. They did the sidewalk, so you can go by there anytime, say hi, and check out his great collection of vehicles, trucks, regular cars. He's got up there for you. Frank at Discount Motors.
All right. Thank you for being here, Troy.
Well,
We've
guys,
got,
thank y'all again for your time. I appreciate you.
we're
letting
looking
me come
forward to
out and
great
visit.
stuff happening over there in February.
Yes,
Big
sir.
month.
Look forward to it. Thank y'all for your time. Take care.
Thank you, Troy.
Thanks for setting the record straight on some of the things.
You
there.
did good. Well, you had a little more time to talk about it today. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank y'all, guys.
absolutely.
Appreciate y'all. Take care.
So we have Stephanie with us this morning, Stephanie Hesh. We're talking
Good
Barefoot
morning.
Mardi Gras.
Yes, we are. We're talking Barefoot Mardi Gras. So our season is coming up, and we're kicking it off on January 30th.
Right here at Docks.
That's right here. And there's only a few tickets left. We're at about 90% sold now.
You saved
so-
me 4, right?
We already did. Yeah, I got you.
Where's
I
the love
got
for the radio hosts?
How many are left? He's buying them.
At the pay window.
He's paying for them.
I'm paying for them.
They're not free.
Yeah. So it's the kickoff party is here, and so you've already chosen the king and queen, but it's not announced. It'll be announced that night.
I have no idea who it is. It's the former kings and queens are the ones who select the incoming, and so it is a secret until it is announced at the party. So nobody except
I couldn't
those
shake it
folks
out of them
know.
at Hard Knocks the other day. I was like,
I know,
going,
they're very good at it.
Yeah, no, they
They're
wouldn't
good.
cough it up. I was like,
Exactly.
hey,
Look for the guy wearing the funny hat.
yeah, that would be your first clue.
We had for the first 10 years of Mardi Gras, we had the same hat.
Yeah.
It was, and it got a little frayed around the edges there about the 8 or 10 years in, and I noticed they got a new one.
Yeah.
I guess John probably came up with that.
Yeah, some of the pieces now are a little bit new, but there's a lot of good pictures on the website of the original hat that you're talking about from the
I
history.
always call it the Imperial Margarine hat because it looked like that commercial.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can't believe
for a
it's not
king.
better.
Yep, exactly.
I think Dwayne Ebert picked that up at a secondhand shop somewhere along the line.
Perfect.
Where do people go to get tickets?
So literally everything Barefoot Mardi Gras is at barefootmardigras.com.
Okay.
So that's the best source for anything that I mentioned today or any questions that anybody might have. So the tickets for Fat Friday, there's a link on there for that. If you need to register a float for the parade, the link is on there for that. The other thing that we have coming up that's going to kick off on January 30th and is going to run through the entire season, through the parade, is the Savings Pass. So I
Okay.
have 24 local businesses that are going to offer special discounts and deals through the month of February.
Okay.
And so it's an app that somebody can download, and it'll have a map on there with each of the different businesses and their special offers. So I
And the
encourage everybody to do that as well.
The parade this year will begin at Briscoe King and go north. Last year it began at Whitecap and went in front of the seawall. This year it's going to start further south, correct?
No, so it did start at Briscoe last year, but it started at Access Road 5.
5.
But this year, we're going to bump it a little bit longer, and it's going to start at Valley Park Road, I believe is
Yeah,
right?
because in the past, before last year, it always came down Whitecap and turned south, so people
Right.
lined up there.
Yep.
And it hit the beach and turned the other way. So this
Yeah.
year it'll pass by all of those.
Yeah, so it's still we'll still start at Briscoe again this year, same as we did last year, and then it's going to start on the Padre Valley Park Road, and then head north, past the seawall, and then exit at Access Road 3A.
You got judges. You got judges lined up?
We are working on the judges. I can't say who they are just yet.
Okay.
Because we're still getting confirmations, but we're trying.
What you should do is find a judge who's already on the bench. A judge. Then you would have a judge.
That's an idea. So we might bring that one up if one of our other 3 judges can't work it out.
Bring it. No, we have Judge Smith.
Right. Yeah. The other thing I wanted to mention too, again, speaking of the month of February, is we have 10 different Mardi Gras themed events going on around the island as
Okay.
well. So again, that list is on barefootmardigras.com.
Okay.
And we're hoping to
doing one.
promote those.
Yeah,
May's
we're
going to be
doing
coming in a minute. They've got one going on at Parents.
Okay.
But definitely check those out. There's going to be a lot of different fun things going
Okay.
on. I think Stevie was on here earlier talking about the beer.
He was.
So Beach Balls is
He's got the beer covered.
Yep. So their event is on February 13th, Friday the 13th. So that's another one that's Mardi Gras supported as well. So
Okay.
definitely check out that list.
Well, I'm getting my
There's a lot
surfboard
of fun
ready.
stuff. Everybody's gonna have to buy a lot more Mardi Gras gear this year.
Have you got the paintball guns ready
I do.
for the
I ordered
candidates
it.
that show up with the golf carts and the magnetic sign?
I have it ordered. The politicians are on notice. You show up in a golf cart with nothing but a magnetic sign, you're getting paintballed.
There you go.
When you go by the broadcast booth, you wear a helmet.
Perfect.
And we also have Maynard Doan with us this morning, May.
Mendoza.
Okay, I'm sorry.
And I
I'm
forgot.
dating myself.
I know, that's okay. Everybody still thinks I'm Nardone. But hi, good morning.
Good
Glad
morning.
to be here. Got some exciting news.
So you're doing some changes at Michael Mays 2.
We are, and so I decided to bring in a partner, Ryan Perrin, and he's just been a really supportive and had a great idea and had a very successful food truck, but he wanted to go to brick and mortar and just wasn't ready to kind of do that on his own. And he said, "Why don't we partner together? I think this would be great." And I sat and thought about it for a while, and I'm like, nobody else is doing this. Mudbugs is shut down.
Cajun food.
Yeah, so it's going to be Cajun Creole food. We're going to do a boil house. We're going to do fresh crawfish boils, and we're going to lead into crab boils in the off season. I used to live in Maryland when I was an ex-Navy wife, and I just really miss the crab boils we used to do. So we're going to pour it on your tables, and his wife Michelle, who's going to be helping him a little bit in the kitchen, and probably be up front with me. She's Italian. Apparently, there's a big Italian influence in New Orleans, much
There
like our
is.
Tex-Mex here. They have their own style of Italian food with the New Orleans flair, which is delicious. I've
Can-
tried several.
Came in with the Marcellos.
Oh, yes, it's amazing. I'm just excited. So we're going to do all kinds of stuff. We're going to do homemade French breads. We're going to do homemade muffaladas. We're going to bring in beignets. So just something new that no one's doing that we're missing out in our
Cajun
community. Cajun food. Well, if you ask Ryan, he would say no. He hates the
Yeah.
term Cajun. But it's, more Creole. So
Creole. Well, there is a difference.
there is. And so, anywho, but we're really excited about it, and we're hoping to open sometime soon in February or early part of February, so we'll stay tuned with the dates. But Ryan Perrin comes from, he's fourth generation restaurateur. His great-grandparents started successful restaurants in New Orleans. In fact, the original Perrin's restaurant, which we are renaming the restaurant Perrin's on the Water.
Are they like Leanne Perrins?
You
You would think. I'm just asking.
they could be, it
I'm
could be, and I
thinking-
wish he was here, but right now we're in the middle of a
We're
major
sure.
renovation of the restaurant,
You've
so
got
he
really
could be
pretty
here.
things going on
But,
inside.
yeah, it's amazing.
Leo
I
Perron,
mean,
yeah.
we are doing a complete makeover. The bar is gonna be amazing. It's gonna look, very Mardi Gras Carnival, because right now is really Carnival season before Mardi Gras, which is really Fat Tuesday. And we're gonna be doing a party for Barefoot Mardi Gras on Lundi Gras, which is Monday, which is the highlight of Carnival before it turns into Fat Tuesday Mardi Gras. And it's actually when the mayor turns over the keys, which maybe we could get Mayor Guajardo to come out, where they turn over the keys for the turning over from Carnival to Mardi Gras.
When do we get to
And that
find the
one,
baby
yours
and the
is on
king cake?
February 16th.
Yes, ours
Monday.
is on Monday,
Monday,
Mardi Gras,
February
January 16th. So it's the official
February 16th.
on the calendar.
The
Mardi
real
Gras.
deal.
The real
McCoy.
day. So we're going to be hosting the party for Barefoot Mardi Gras. So it'll be a lot of fun. And anyway, so we're really looking forward. We hope to
So
get
when do
the
you think the
support.
new place will be open?
Hopefully, let's say the second, because the first weekend is February 1st, Sunday. I'm hoping by the second weekend we'll be ready to go with the public. So we're still working
Well, it'd
on,
be good to have
getting the
I won't call it a
boil
Cajun
house.
place.
Yeah, the boil house
Creole.
ready and so forth.
Creole.
Well, it is Cajun, but we're going to have. You
But
name it,
there's like a
boudin balls.
variety of gumbos, different gumbo.
We're going to have
every-
a gumbo of the day, so we're going to have different gumbos. So apparently, there's different gumbos. I've learned a lot, so it's been really interesting. I'm really excited.
Can't wait to try that out.
I'm
So, yeah.
surprised you're not a gumbo cook.
I can cook gumbo. I don't. You got to get the roux right.
The
yeah,
roux,
yeah.
yeah.
Gotta leave the heads in.
Yep.
Yeah?
And that's his wife Michelle with the Italian part. She does roux for the sauces on the Italian food. It's a whole other way of doing things. I love it. But anyways,
So you said before we go, you said there are 10 Mardi Gras events?
I believe I have 10 on the calendar now.
And but the big one is here at Doc's.
Yeah, the-
Fat Friday party.
So there's 3, we'll call it official Barefoot Mardi Gras events, and those are the ones that are actually run by PIBA and the Barefoot Mardi Gras team. And that is the kickoff party, which is here January 30th at Doc's, and that one's ticketed. And again, get your tickets now because they're almost gone.
Okay.
The second one is going to be a dice run, a progressive dice run, and that's on Thursday, February 19th. And that one will start at the Anchor Bar, it'll go to Salty Dolphin, Brewster's on the Island, Island Italian, and then end at Hard Knocks.
Well, that sounds like the kind of our poker run route.
Similar, yes, but we're doing dice instead. And then the last, or the capstone event for every year is the parade on February 28th. So those are the 3 official events. And then there's other events held by island businesses throughout the season, or throughout the month of February, that are going to be Mardi Gras themed.
Okay.
All right, stay tuned. Thank you so much, and you've been listening to the Island Moon Thursday on Retro Radio CC 103.3 and 105.9 KUKA Driscoll, Texas. Thanks to our guests. Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you to May. Thank you to Dale Rankin. Thank you to Nick Losi. Thank you to Jeff Edmonds. Thank you to Jay Gardner. And who else do we have? Troy Adler. Thank you. And Stevie. We had a whole host of guests here, so thank you so much.
We had a
And-
Stevie sighting.
with Stevie sighting, so HEB feet. Looking forward to it. So, all right, so we'll see you next time. And now we have the mushroom cloud of Eric Von Wade coming up next. See you next time on the radio.
okay.
Don't say any potty words.
I didn't get to ask him.
No
is
potty
today-
words.
Is today the park board meeting?
Oh, it's the last Thursday of the month, whenever that is. I think it's next Thursday.
It's next Thursday.
I haven't been going to those. I'm going to
So
try
when
to
are they
make
putting
them.
up the bid? Did he say?
It's empty.
Oh, that's good.
I kind of figured
That
that
would've
was
been
April. He said they're going to put together a
Broadcast
committee
professional.
to come up with the criteria, kind of like they did last time when you
Yeah,
guys.
it's
Stop
usually-
streaming.
Usually the park board members.
Yeah, and then they come
Stop.
up with a criteria and they score it. And
They
then,
score it. Well, the only negative thing I can say about that restaurant